What's up, everybody? Welcome to the GameOverGreggy show. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the producer/seducer, Nick Scarpino.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm well.
Does it feel like the old days, wearing the headphones? Kevin's off at some dumb wedding.
It does. I'm just going to monitor for a few minutes and then just throw them on the ground and step
Don't
on
know that we just bought new headphones, so that
It's not a wedding. It's a sexy birthday rendezvous.
you
wedding.
told me there was a wedding.
He
today.
told me he was at a wedding.
Is he getting married?
No.
What's the corpse's name? Anyways. So what? Paula took him away for his birthday?
Yeah.
Where'd they go?
It's some weird safari thing.
That doesn't sound sexy.
Yeah, I saw him at a zoo or something.
Sounds like malaria.
Malaria.
It sounds fun though. From the little I talked to him,
yeah.
it sounded good. I heard an elephant in the background.
You
I'm
did not hear an
I
elephant
didn't
in the
hear an
background.
elephant. I did not.
Over there at the pier went Tim Gettys.
Hello.
Over here, Pride of Long Island, Colin Moriarty.
Good to be here with you today.
Pet in Portillo's head.
This little son of a bitch.
Getting old.
He is. He's getting all gray.
Yep.
And dumb. No, he's always been dumb, I guess.
He's always been dumb. Yeah, that's no change. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Good.
Tired.
I'm feeling good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We're coming off MomoCon. Mm-hmm. Thank you to everybody who came out to MomoCon, came to see us at our
Yes, thank
panels,
you for
hung
that.
out with us, came
For
to the
all
meet
of
and
you
greet.
asking out there, Momo is Japanese for peach.
And peaches, a big
The
deal
official
in Georgia.
fruit of Georgia, which is where MomoCon was.
Right.
Oh,
So
honey,
now it all
putting out
makes sense.
progress in peaches.
Now,
Don't
what they
worry
also
about it.
explained to me was that peach is synonymous with anime.
And I like why do you say it that way?
Anime.
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 Now, what peaches and anime have to do with each other? I have no idea. I don't know why. Why would they call it? They're essentially calling it Peach Con,
They're
which
doing
makes
that-
sense if it's a farmer's market.
No, I think it's cute. They're doing it because Georgia's well known for its peaches. This is a
Right.
Japanese centric thing, and so they're just saying it's MomoCon. Like it's implied. You know.
Right.
The thing is that most people that even go to MomoCon have no idea that it means peach.
Right.
Including me. I didn't know that until a few days before we even went.
It has peach in the official logo. Yeah, from MomoCon.
It's all. Once you see it, it's like the FedEx area. You can't unsee it.
I'm one of those guys that likes names that are incredibly descriptive.
Hold
so
on.
like Comic
Is
Con.
it like the FedEx thing, Greg?
Just like the FedEx.
Or are they just very clear peaches?
Well, no, it's not like it's just one. You're instead of seeing the arrow, you're seeing the peach in Momo. You always see the peach as a peach, but it's when you know Momo means peach, the logo takes on a whole new meaning.
I guess so.
Just like when you understand arrow means arrow, FedEx means different
Got it.
things.
Okay, now you finally won me over with that.
I still
argument,
think he's
Greg.
wrong.
Let me ask you an unrelated question, Greg.
Sure.
When you pick, I always notice you pick up Portillo with authority. You pick up Portillo as if you've done it once or twice.
Yeah, once or
Does
twice.
he fit in your hand in a very specific way?
Yeah, rib cage right in the center of it.
But so like so like you always can pick him up in the right way. So let me
Right.
see him real quick.
Now you gotta always support his butt because he's got the back, you know.
Like when I'm picking him up, he just starts. He's a little more.
Penguiny.
Yeah, he gets a little.
Hey, you're not giving him the support he's used
oh,
to.
that's fantastic. Thank you for that.
He knows you have the untrained hand, the
Now grab
unskilled
him.
hand. Yeah.
That's he's struggling there, and now he's calm again.
You just do that. You bring him close to your body. You get him right on the rib cage right there.
Portillo, you're
And
a real
he's just
son of a
chill.
bitch.
You just chill.
I also like
Yes.
that when Greg hands Portillo to you, Portillo immediately starts doing the mouth noise that you love. I know
He
you
does
love
know.
it.
I feel like
looks
there's-
you right in the eye when he
I
does
feel
it.
like we're bigger adversaries than
Ever.
but also it's mutual. You know, we
Sure.
have an unspoken love for each other. I
Yeah.
think, as pictures have proven on the internet.
Sure.
But the animosity is real as well.
No, I can feel it.
Yeah.
You're like two Super Bowl quarterbacks. You respect each other, and in the offseason you might like each other, but when you're on the field, when you're on the gridiron,
Right.
all bets are off.
Now here's the funny thing.
It didn't derail. So
No,
you
it
were
was
waiting
good.
for
It
it.
was
Here,
good.
here was the thing I was thinking about before is that
I mean, it didn't make much sense. Like,
No,
why?
nothing does.
Are the quarterbacks all on the field?
It's like LA
all
and
bets are
Montana
off?
were famously really
But what is
great
all bets are
friends.
off? They're not like trying
They're
to hit
not
each
gonna,
other.
no, but they're not gonna
Throw
like,
interceptions on purpose? Well,
No,
yeah.
they're not gonna like go easy on each other. But I'm gonna play this game as hard as humanly possible. I don't care if my best friend's playing against me. Is basically what's happening.
Okay.
I think it makes sense. I think you're analyzing it too much.
Alright.
I think it makes more sense than
it
you're
would
like
make
this.
more like Michael Strahan versus Brett Favre, and there's
Sure.
when they go out there, it's just all
The
bets are
classic
off.
matchup.
Now I'm gonna.
It makes
say,
more sense than when you were
Strahan
like this.
broke the sack record, sacking him. But you remember this? It was totally like a fucking fake thing where Brett Favre
Brett
told
Favre
them to
went-
let him through, and then he fell down like it's stupid.
Yeah, it was nonsense.
You don't deserve it, Michael Strahan.
Great
But here's the
deep
thing
dive.
I was thinking about too with Portillo. I've known for a while, but it was brought up to me not too long ago that Portillo used to bite Christine when she first moved in with you.
A couple times.
Yeah.
Not savagely either.
I mean, let's be clear. I don't think that's possible
Portillo
for that
could be
thing to
savage. Oh, yeah.
savagely do anything.
Or he could
Well, you've seen him set on a toy, but nonetheless, I was thinking about So he did that because he was used to being, alone with you.
Number one,
right?
yeah.
And then Christine would obviously be sleeping in your bed, and he would be kind of cast off.
Sure. Jealousy.
Now, what I've always
Attention.
found about this, and why I think that I'm Portillo's second favorite in the world, is because Portillo's never bitten me. Now, I've not slept often with Greg in the same bed. It's not to say I've never slept in the same bed as Greg.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
We wouldn't say anything crazy.
But when Portillo and Greg moved in here in 2011, Portillo has never once snapped at me or barked at me or gotten mad at me at all. So I feel like I have the advantage right now in Portillo's heart and mind. Heart, right here. Mind, right here. And I feel like...
I doubt it.
I feel like there's something to be said about it.
I think him and Steimer buried their... I was going to say bridges. That doesn't make any sense.
They buried the bridges.
They mended
They
their
did.
bridges quite some time ago.
The point is I had no bridges to mend,
Sure.
you see.
But he hears you yell at him.
He doesn't know.
You send him to bed every so often.
Just
You
for
yell
fun
at him.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes
He doesn't even know if he's going to
Sometimes
bed.
he'll just go to bed. Yeah. Greg, let's be honest. When you go send him to bed, he doesn't know he's being
No, I
bad.
know. He's stupid.
It's not that he's necessarily stupid, it's that you never trained him.
No, I trained him to
So
go to
he
bed.
just goes to bed.
He puts his ears down
He
and
does
knows.
a
He
little
knows he did
saunter
something wrong. He knows he did something wrong.
So like at any moment in time, I can just tell him to go to bed, and he's fine.
he usually doesn't believe you, though.
No, he doesn't. But then he knows when I'm getting stern. I look at him. Like, what's funny is that he does the rollover thing sometimes with you, like where he won't move.
Where he really doesn't want to go to
But
bed.
like, I only have to look at him to make him do that. Like where I'll tell him something and he'll just ignore it, and then I'll look at him and he'll like roll over because
Yeah.
he knows that like
Submissive.
I'm coming at him,
Yeah.
and then I'll just push him down
the
hall
hallway, yeah.
until he gets on his feet, and then he'll run down the hall. And he has such thing. Greg calls it a tractor trailer out of control, where like he's going and then he'll just turn this way and keep going.
His hind
so
legs
he's like
kinda
walking
spin
Back
outside.
ways, just kind of like.
Yeah.
It's a weird.
He's too long. He doesn't
He's
know
a
what's going on back
weird
there.
creature. It is the length issue, I think,
Yeah,
and also juxtaposed to the short stature of his legs.
Yeah.
I feel very. I sympathize with him. I got short legs, long torso. I got you, dog.
So I'm just calling it. Portillo and I might not have a lot of time to bond, but Portillo and I have an unspoken bond, and it never went astray. He never bit me.
Sure. He was a younger,
Alright.
wilder dog back in
Okay.
his day, I think is the big thing. But you make a good point because you're both my bitch. Ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know, this is the GameOverGreggy show. Each and every week, 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather around this table. Each bring a random topic of discussion for your amusement.
That was real good.
I need to rely on you because I couldn't do it and hold the dog.
Why are you holding the mic?
This is the problem, and I love the dog. But when he wants to be on the shows, I
so
cross my
needy.
legs and then I sit way off the mic. And so then if I come up to the mic, he doesn't have enough room to sit because I got this gut that blocks him out.
Let me be clear.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be on the show because he doesn't know anything's happening right now.
No, he wants to be
you
in my
let him
lap.
on your lap all the time, so that that's his natural place.
He also knows to shine. He knows to shine in front of the camera. You've seen him look at the camera. Don't act like that's something that
there's
you
something
say. You say I haven't trained Portillo. I've trained him to be a camera hog. He knows what's up. Yeah. You put a camera on this dog at any time, he knows it.
Yeah, he knows it right now.
Well, right now he's just he knows. I mean, if we needed to put him out there, what I've been thinking about doing is bringing his dog bed in here, putting it on the center of the table, and just leaving him in the center of the table at all times. He could be the new centerpiece.
That's
I
fine.
like that until he
He smells better than that.
accidentally traps
Superman
off.
thing.
Tumbles to his
I mean,
death.
he's not gonna move in the middle of the show.
mean-
I can hold him this way the entire time.
Yeah, but you're holding him.
Yeah.
If he's just of his free volition,
We would have a good 5 seconds of him getting up and getting ready to move before something bad would happen.
What we would need is, have you guys seen the movie Gladiator? When
Yeah,
they put
Russell
him in the
Crowe.
middle, and then they put the 4 tigers in the side of him, so he can't go anywhere, and he has to fight the guy. We'd need some sort of system in place like that for me to be okay with him being in the middle of the table.
I mean, are
'Cause
we
I'm
the
worried about
tigers
it.
in this?
Do we have?
scenario?
Is there such a thing as a mini tiger? We'll get 4 cats, and we'll tether them to the sides.
We'll bring Chloe back.
Yeah.
Chloe will fuck him up. Like she
Each
used
bringing
to.
a random topic of conversation for your amusement. If you like that, go to patreon.com/kindafunny and toss us a few bucks. But if you don't have any money to give us, no big deal. Wait until next week, because Monday through Thursday we break the show up topic by topic, day by day, and post it on youtube.com/kindafunny before we post the entire thing for free Friday on youtube.com/kindafunny and podcast services around the world.
Greg, do you think Portillo ever thinks of Chloe and remembers her?
No.
And
Do you?
I don't know. See, this is the thing I was telling you about. When Chloe lived here, Chloe the cat, which was Mike Mitchell's cat, I loved her very much. She would always be in my room. She was in my room all the time because Mike wasn't here a lot, and I used to like really take care of her. And she would be at the sliding door, and she would just sit in between the sliding door and the curtain and look outside all the time. And there's a cat that lives across the way
Yeah.
that I've named Frederick. I named him Frederick a long time ago. I don't know
that
what his
up.
actual name
Fuck
is.
that
He's
up.
like a ratty looking like black and brown cat.
He
He's
looks like that. He looks like alternate universe garbage pail Heathcliff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. And he would like saunter out of the house that he's from and like kind of walk around the backyard. And then eventually he realized that Chloe was always at the window, and so they would actually sit like together, like separated by a window, and just sit there for hours. And I have like all this film of them doing this and like pictures. It's so funny.
Each thinking the other was in prison.
And so eventually Chloe left, and Frederick, I see him once in a while, like
R.I.P.
roaming around. But I have a white stuffed cat. And after about 18 months, it's Rolo from Tales of Exilia 2. And and Cheryl actually had the great idea, and she's like, put the cat at the window and see if Frederick comes and thinks it's Chloe. And this was like 18 months after like he had last seen and had an interaction with Chloe, and I did it, and he came. Isn't that fucking weird?
Did he mourn? Did he just brought her fishes and stuff and just mourned?
It was so
cried?
weird. There was a time where I used to leave my sliding door open sometime, and like one of them cut through the screen.
Screen, yeah.
To either get in or
screen?
out. I don't know. Like,
No
what happened.
shit.
Yeah.
Which one do you think it was?
It was probably Chloe cutting to get out.
You think so?
Yeah, because Chloe got out a couple times and then she freaked out and like just ran back in. She like never tried to like run away because she was fat and lazy. But so I always thought that was funny that because Frederick would come around every once in a while and just hang out and like think, and then eventually stopped coming.
Yeah.
Like realizing that she was gone.
It
But then
hurt
when
too
I
much.
put from afar, he saw like a white apparition in the window.
Yeah.
And so it was, and so he came up and he was very disappointed when he realized it was a stuffed animal of Rolo from Tales of Exilia 2, and so that's how that story goes. So I feel like Portillo might have nightmares every once in a while of Chloe just batting him right in his fucking face like she used
It
to.
was pretty even. There's video proof of him chasing her down the hallway that one time.
Yeah, but
That
he
one
never
time.
attacked her. He couldn't damage her. You know, she's way too fast, and that's just the nature. But I saw her several times just
She
fucking beat him.
She bat him.
You know.
We're gonna do that thing and run away. Tim, what's your topic? Please tell me it's not Portillo.
It is not Portillo. So we're coming up on my favorite week of the year, E3. So here's the thing. Nick's reaction right there upsets me. I don't like that one bit. We've been working at IGN for a long time. Now we're not, but for a long time we were there, right?
Yeah.
And there's this like kind of sentiment among a lot of people that have been working in the industry for a long time. They're like, "Oh, it's E3. Oh, I hate this. This is the worst week ever. I want this to be over." Are you guys fucking crazy?
No, we're 100% saying you're the crazy one.
No. I remember being a little kid and wanting nothing more than for it to be June because it's my birthday at the end of June, but also because I knew that I was about to know all the games that I was going to buy in November. And I was so excited about that.
Sure. E3's exciting.
You start thinking about what they're going to announce. You start making predictions. You start talking to your friends about it. You just get fucking hyped. And then all of a sudden, Japanese dudes come out and freaking play Santa Claus and start throwing gifts at you, right?
Right.
It's the fucking best. That's what E3 is,
Sure.
right? Yeah. So, what, Nick?
He already wants to start poking holes in your thing.
No, I'll wait for you to finish your topic what the full topic is before I start lambasting you.
Oh, God. I mean, my topic is just E3 in general.
Yeah.
Like, do you still feel that magic that you once did?
See, my thing is I never really felt the magic because E3 is always synonymous in my head with working ridiculously hard for very little in return. My first year of E3, I don't think we slept for the first couple days, and I don't know why we did that other than that's how we thought that's how you're supposed to cover a show. I always equate it to I always dread E3 until we get to it because I was actually talking to Neha this morning
From
over at
GameSpot. We're working with GameSpot. GameSpot.com/E3 dash kind of funny dash E3. I'll look it up.
Well, I think you'll be able to just go to GameSpot.com during E3. And,
Well, yeah,
and
I'm
see
talking
all
about
the
right now and
highlights.
see our little funny video.
Oh, fun. But yeah, Neha and I we're tired. I mean, obviously, we're both tired for different reasons. She's been dealing with it on a much bigger scale because she's the director of video over there and has to kind of coordinate everything. But we were talking today, and she's like, I don't know. I just kind of look to June 20th when I'm just not there anymore, and I could just sit by a pool and have a cocktail and relax. And I think we both kind of agreed that the lead up to E3 is the stressful part.
Exactly.
During the show, I always have a blast. I'll be honest with you, because like when I used to do the pre and post show with Greg and Colin, and I think you were. I don't know if you were a
I've
part
done
of
a bunch
that.
of random stuff.
Yeah, you used to kind of be around, kind of segment producing for us.
You wore a nice suit last year.
It was.
I did.
Yeah, like getting the sets together, getting all the branding and the sponsorship stuff together. It was like you have to do it, but it's a pain in the ass because you're like, you just have to track down so many different details, and you're working with so many different moving parts. Whereas when the show's going, and you can't really change any of the big things, you're like, well, we can't really change the set because the set's here, and we're all on top of it. So great, that's off the list. You get a much better sense of like energy and excitement, right? Because like, oh, we're gonna do a live show. It's gonna be fun, and this is like a lot of eyes are on this, and it means a lot to a lot of people, which is the most important thing. Same with Comic-Con, where you're like, we're mounting this big production. We're a part of this cultural thing that's happening, this big zeitgeist that's happening right now, and it means something to people, which is great. But everything up until that point is like torture, is mental torture.
That's the thing. I think I love E3. I still enjoy E3. I feel the magic of E3. The thing about E3 though, and I understand the people who are not jaded, but who are like, oh, I'm not into this, is the fact that from a consumer, it's just Christmas. But for everybody else, it's you're at the base of the mountain looking up to the peak. Like, I got a long way to go. You know what I mean? Like, setting up this schedule out there, let alone doing our normal jobs in this show and helping Nick set up the room. And it's like, I start to answer an email and leave, and now there's 15, and now 2 people are competing for the same time slot. And it's like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the thing of all the gears grinding against each other of like, and then you get there, and it's fun, and it's great, but there is that, I'm on stage and I'm doing this, and is the next guest here yet? And if they aren't, why aren't they here? And what are we going to do? And da-da-da, and I got to remember, I'm still on for this person. There's so many different things there.
Yeah.
I love E3.
Good.
No, I mean, this is the first E3 in a long time that I was at all exciting or looking forward to going. Like, when June came around, typically I was like, fuck. Because E3 is tough, and I get why people are excited. I used to be excited too when I'd watch it from afar, but when I went to my first one in 2004, I quickly learned that it was not fun. And really, all of the fun for me, in going to the show and absorbing the show, even as a consumer, even though I'm not really, I guess, a consumer anymore, I'm just in media or whatever the fuck it is we do, but personality, but is the press conferences. Yep. The press conferences are all that matter, and they all happen within 24 hours, and then there's just 3 more days of fucking hell.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like it's all front loaded before the show even happens. The coolest shit happens. It's not like E3 happens and then the best part happens. It's E3 happens and then it just gets worse and worse. So that's the one thing that I like to keep in mind. As someone who doesn't really like being around crowds and doesn't really like absorbing things and nerd culture in that way, going to conventions and stuff, that's not really like my style. I would love to live in an era like we do now, or have lived in an era like we do now, where you could watch the press conference and stuff like that. Because back in the day, as I don't know, a lot of people remember, in 2000, 2001, 1999, 98, whatever, you'd have to wait and fucking refresh, a website and wait for people like news to pop up, and that's not the way it happens anymore. So E3 is most fun to watch now from home. I am so confused why a normal person would want to go to this place, because A, you're not going to get in any of the press conferences if you're not in the media, and B, then you get to go on a show floor and play a bunch of games, and if you don't have press passes or appointments like we do, like what we did at IGN, then you're going to wait in line, you're going to play 3 or 4 games maybe of any consequence a day, and then you're going to have to leave. And I understand why people are excited about that, but to me, I always try to put it towards other people as like, listen, like, we're doing this so you don't have to. So stay as far away from it as possible, because like, we'll go through this for you and we'll let you know what we think, and at least you don't have to go through the whole rigmarole of.
I understand that, but I think it's just that we've gotten to live the other side of the equation. You know what I mean? If we're on the outside going to, I always talk about it at PAX. When I'll talk to people at PAX at a meet and greet and be like, oh man, what'd you see today? What'd you do? Well, we waited in line 3 hours to watch this 15-minute demo. I'm like, are you fucking crazy?
What the fuck?
Are you fucking crazy? But that's the experience. They're there for that game. You know what I mean? That's the thing of like, they're going there to see Uncharted 4, just to see it. Yeah. To be one of the first 1,000 people that see it and get to see it.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing, Greg, is that, and for everyone, is I understand, as Tim was alluding to, that it sounds and is jaded, right, to say something like that. But I'm unapologetic about it, because I did it this will be my 9th E3. And I did it for so long and so many times that I just know that it's not like, covering it from that standpoint doesn't change. It doesn't get easier. It stays exactly the same. It's hard. And you work all day and all night to write this stuff, and you do it and you just kill yourself. And so I understand that the zeitgeist of being there is fun, and being there is fun for people, and playing games is fun. But when you have to work the show, it's a different beast entirely, which is why, frankly, I'm so excited about this E3, because we get to just go and do our show. I mean, a lot of pre-planning that we're going, and a lot of planning going into it, but we're there, from 9 to 5 or whatever, and then we're done, because that's not the way it was. Like when you cover games there, it's, you have appointments from 9 to 5, and then you're up until 3 in the morning writing about them, and then you get up at 7, and then you do it again over and over again. So I understand why people get upset when they say like, well, I'd kill to be at E3, and I understand that, but understand that our perspective is somewhat unique in the sense that we've done this, and I'm telling you, if you have to work the show, it is not fun. Mm-hmm. I don't know anyone in the industry, that writes previews and sees games there that likes doing it. I've never met one person. So like that's just the reality of the situation. If you can just go and have fun and enjoy, that's different. But that's never been the way I've experienced either. So that's why I understand why it comes off as jaded, but I am unapologetically jaded because that has been my experience. That's just the truth.
I had one E3 that way. My first E3 was actually like I won a contest to go to E3, and that was like fucking mind blowing because up until that point, I was just like, I'm sure millions of people out there are one of those kids that's just like, my dream's to go to E3. I want to be there. I've for years read the magazines and heard about the 3-hour wait to play whatever game it was, you know, Brawl or all that stuff, and I wanted that so badly. And then once you get there, I was like, I'm not gonna fucking wait in line to play this goddamn game. Like I'll watch it, that's cool, you know. But I, like Greg was saying, I don't understand the people that go and want that, but they do, obviously, and there's a huge crowd for that. But I remember actually being there that first year, and instantly being like, oh fuck. The thing that I liked the most about E3, I'm not even getting because I'm here. I couldn't watch the press conferences because I had to wait in line to get in. You know, and we actually got to go to the PlayStation conference that year. So the year Kevin Butler came out. That was fucking awesome. Like that was a memory I'll always have of me and Alfredo going there and being in the press conference and being like, holy shit, this is amazing. But that meant I didn't get to see Nintendo's press conference. That broke my heart. You know, it's
you didn't miss much.
It wasn't a good year that year, but still, I missed like the reveal of Donkey Kong Country Returns and stuff like that, and like that's the shit that I lived for. Like I wanted to see that. So then I kind of got out of the press conference and I had to get on my phone and try to keep refreshing and figure out all the things that happened. And then you just go to the show floor and it's just it's a disaster. There's just games and people and all this shit. There's just too much, and it's hard to like actually understand where should I go and what I'm supposed to do. By day 2, I was done with it. It's like, this is awesome, this is a spectacle, and it's great. But whatever. Yeah. You know, and then I moved, like, I got my job at IGN, actually, because of that trip to E3 when I went to the IGN booth and talked to people. But then I've been at IGN, this is now going to be my 6th E3, and it's like, I can never go to the show floor again, and I'd be totally fine. Like, that's all fine. I'm with you with the press conferences. I wish there was a way I could actually be in the room for all the press conferences, but that's impossible. If you go to Sony's, you can't go to Microsoft.
Yeah,
like,
there are some people that try. Like I remember Fran used to I think one year Fran actually was able to make it to all of them. But you have to really want that, like to be in that room when that's happening. And also, it's just, I've sat in many press conference, filming them or doing direct feed for them and things like that. It is fun. It's that
there's an energy to that live
showmanship and energy, right? Like, especially since now we've all been in the industry long enough to have seen both consoles come out for the last 2 generations, right? So, like, dude, the hype of like seeing the PlayStation 4 or seeing the Xbox One and like that whole, it really is. You talk about like presidential elections and how that is some people's Super Bowls. Well, like, you know, in the video game industry, that is a lot of like people love being caught up in that race between the 3 major consoles, right? And then like seeing what Microsoft would do, and then Sony always having like going last and like making that impression, right? And like that whole debacle, was it last year or the year before, when Microsoft was like always on, we're just gonna deal with it or whatever, and everyone's like, what? And then Sony's like, well. You know, you could tell they called an audible a little bit and changed some wording just to kind of slam Microsoft one more time. And you're like, yeah, I mean, depending on which side you come down on, you're like, score 1 for the good guys or boo, you know. So there is that energy too, but it was also cool. It was a unique experience watching it on the last time we did it at IGN, because they had that beautiful stage and people could come and sit and watch it on a 60-inch TV, not be bothered, not have to deal with the crowds. We watched every single one of them. You could relax, get food. That is an experience too. And so in that regard, like I think that everyone should experience it once. Then once you do, you'll be very, very appreciative of being able to watch the streams from the comfort of your own home. Yeah. And not need to deal with the crowd, because you're right. Like you don't get to play as many games as you want. And even if you do, you got to wait forever to do it. You know, there's always that like third day though, when you're like, all right, I'm gonna go roll on the show floor and like screw around. That's always fun.
It thins out a little bit by the third day too.
I remember, so Alfredo every year would come over to my house and we'd just sit in my room and just watch the conferences and just be like freaking out over everything, even the stuff that we didn't really care too much about. Like we'd even watch all the third party conferences and all that stuff that even back then they didn't show that much, you know.
Does EA still do a conference? Are they still doing a conference?
Yeah.
Yeah, they always do, right?
Yeah, EA will do one and UB will do one.
Yeah. So
This is
Konami
EA's
used to
return
do
to
one,
form,
right?
right? Because they'll be showing stuff.
Did Konami used to do something?
Konami
They
used to
used
do,
to,
yeah, it's
yeah.
like a joke what they used to do. It was awful.
It was like an hour long. You're like, ah.
And then this year Square Enix is jumping in and Bethesda's jumping in. So there's lots of
conferences.
a lot of third party
Yeah.
conferences.
But I think that overall, my best E3 experience has always been the recent years of IGN, where we're all in one room watching it together. Everyone's reacting. Like
was
that
fun.
was just like the memories of me and Alfredo times 1,000. Because
Yeah, yeah.
these are the people that give a fuck the most. Like I'll never forget the moment when the picture of the Beyond guys was
Oh, yeah,
in the
yeah.
Sony press conference. Like that was fucking magic. You know, that was like
Yeah.
fucking cool, man. And like,
That's the only time in my life I remember blushing.
oh really?
Yeah, because like they had called us ahead of time or text me ahead of time, like the day before, like, hey, do you care if we use that photo of you guys in shoe? I'm like, no. And I thought it would be like briefly mentioned.
Yeah.
It was like fully featured right behind him. And the way I didn't tell anybody at IGN except like the immediate
Yeah.
Beyond crew. And so the way the war room reacted, I remember blushing because everybody flipped out about it.
I mean, that was fucking cool. And like, just when games are announced or like when big moments happen, and at E3, there's always like at least one a year of something that happens that makes everyone go, oh fuck. Like, even
Yeah.
if it's something like Killer Instinct's coming back. Oh shit, that's cool. You
Yeah,
know, and
yeah.
people, like, even if people don't give a fuck when it actually comes out, that moment of it being announced is special.
Right.
And like, man, E3, it's fucking great. Today, Jeff Keighley announced that he's hosting the
YouTube was on.
like E3 stream or whatever, and that's fucking exciting. And they released this trailer that I put on my Twitter. I don't know if you guys can find it at some point. This might be way too late for that, but look for it. It's the Jeff Keighley E3 trailer for YouTube, and it was just fucking epic. There's just epic music playing. It's kind of like a history of E3, and he's just like giving this speech about like why E3 is important. It's like it's the Super Bowl for gaming, and like you get to see all the different people competing, and it's just showing all these moments from E3's history. And I'm just like, man, like we've been in this a long time. Like
Yeah.
a lot of things have happened, and it's like to see Miyamoto go on the stage and like. E3 creates these characters out of these business guys.
Sure.
You know, and it's like, you know, Nintendo obviously has Reggie and stuff. We got Shu, we got like Microsoft guy number 1, number 2, number 3, whatever they
Spencer, come on.
But you know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like
I know what you mean.
even if you don't know their names, when you see these guys, you're like, oh, that guy's back. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, oh, I remember when he did that stupid thing, or like, oh, this guy makes good announcements. Like, it's a really special time where it's like a weird family reunion every year.
Yep.
Where you see these people and then you keep seeing them year after year. And it's like some guys move to different companies and
Yeah.
stuff, but it's like, it makes you care about things that I think the normal people don't care about. To us, these are people we work with all the time or
Yeah.
like, you know of. But like, I remember not working at IGN, not giving a fuck about like the actual people talking, but then realizing maybe I kind of do. And that's kind of cool to me.
Well, also,
No.
nobody beats Jack Tretton.
Jack Trent was the best.
Nobody.
He was the best in the biz.
Yeah,
the best in the
his
biz.
delivery was great. I mean, again, like the thing about it being the Super Bowl for gamers is it's true, but it's like as if the end of the game happened in the beginning.
Right.
And that's like
It's
that's
very
kind of
true.
like, you know what I mean? That's kind of the issue, like in terms, because I really do love the press conferences. I really do. I don't care who's talking or what they're saying. It's just like the announcements are tangible, because one of the things that about E3 that bothered me is I really don't like writing previews. Like it's the least favorite thing that I had ever do, and I don't really need to play games early either. Like I don't get off on that.
Yeah,
like,
I'm with you on that.
Like it's not really necessary for me unless it's like I remember playing Mega Man 9 for the first time at E3, and that was really awesome and I was excited about that, or Fallout 3, but these games are like few and far between where I'm like I really need to play this right now, you know, because usually the games are not ready. They feel and play and look different by
It's
the
just
time
a
you get
normal
them.
thing of like I'm playing 15 minutes, 3 hours in that I'm gonna have to replay again when it comes out
Exactly,
anyway.
yeah.
And it's spoiling this, that, and the other.
So it's like once I know I'm
you
interested,
feel it when the world around you is hyper colored and you're hearing this and you're just like, and you fought through a sea of sweaty people, and I don't give a shit how clean you are. By day 2 of E3, you're not clean anymore.
you're hot and
just
disgusting,
not.
especially
hot
if you're
and
carrying a
disgusting.
bag. You get there, you're late. You're frantic about being late. You have no idea where to go because you go to the one check-in desk, but there's 3
That's
others
the
around this
international
giant
press checking
fucking
desk.
thing.
You're not international press. You're U.S. press. You got to go to that person. Candy's not here. Sorry, I don't know who to talk to you about.
Candy?
I don't know. You're always like this. I'm here to see Phil. And they're like,
Oh, you mean candy?
you're like, I don't. They're like, there's always someone that like that person that really knows what's going on just stepped away for a second. This person that was hired as staff 3 days ago and they just gave the shirt to that looks official is always like this. I don't. And they always have a clipboard that's like within arm's reach, and they're like, Is there Phil? Do you know Phil? Can you go get Phil? I don't know who Phil is. And then they just look at you and you look at them and you're like, and if Phil doesn't immediately come back into your eyesight, you're just fucked.
Yeah.
You're just fucked.
yeah,
Gotta give
it's a
respect
weird,
to
it's
it.
definitely a weird experience. I think that one of the things I was confused about this year was the hype of like getting like prosumers getting in, and I'm like, dude, like to be perfectly honest with you, half the people at E3 are just not doing anything. Like it's no different than usual. You know what I mean? Like E3 would actually be way more manageable if it literally was an industry show, because there would be there's not that many people in the industry.
The year that it was an industry show, when they decided to scale it back, was really, like, with the exception of having to drive to every place, I thought that was a lot more.
You're talking about Santa Monica year?
That's infamous that year.
It wasn't great, but it was a lot more like when you stepped onto the show floor, you're like, oh, I can literally walk to any single game I want to play right now, because there was not a ton of people there.
The year after Santa Monica, they came back to the convention center and had it on lockdown in terms of who could be there.
Maybe
and I
that's
remember
the year I'm
walking around
thinking.
that year not being bad, but it also wasn't the same.
Yeah, well, that was the year they also were like no booth babes, any of that stuff. Remember that? Like, the outlawed booth, famously.
Isn't that
that was the year that broke my heart.
I thought there was
Yeah, I think there are no booth babes.
They have girls that
Well,
walk
they
around.
dance
Well, that was the year
around,
that they
yeah.
started it, though.
The booth babes?
Yeah. No booth babes.
Oh, yeah,
Started
that's what I'm
outlawing
talking about.
them.
Yeah. So that's the thing. I've always known it was not necessarily. They call it an industry show. It's not an industry show. There's a lot of people there that it just kind of somehow figured out to get in, and they're more fans than they are industry. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, because kudos to them. They figured it out.
Absolutely. I'm not mad about it.
But I remember the first year, I was like 2 years ago, I walked around with Greg, and I remember I'm like, oh shit, this is a nice reminder that this actually isn't that big of an industry show, because you couldn't walk 5 feet without someone wanting to take a picture of you. And like when you go to an industry event, that doesn't happen.
Sure.
Right? You're getting people who know you, they work with you as a professional, they see you in a different light. Whereas when you walk in the show and 40 people want to like get near you, I'm like, okay, this is more like MomoCon than
I don't know
like,
about that. I think that they are industry people. They're just on a different level of industry. Like they're on the blog level and stuff like that.
Yeah, but
I
that's
don't
what
think
I'm-
it's as easy to get in as you guys are making it out.
No,
to be.
I mean, I always got in with IGN every year. This is the first year I'm going with someone else, but I know plenty of people that are like, I just put in my blog, and
Well, yeah,
they're not really.
but they have
checking.
a blog though. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
the thing. It's like it does
But
require.
it's
you
not
can't just go.
But it's not. And again, I don't care who goes. I mean, go if you want. If you can get in, get in. But I'm saying it's not a blog like Kotaku. Mm-hmm. It's like a blog that no one reads.
Your
Yeah, but
GeoCities page.
you don't have to need a blog. Yeah, I thought you could work for a retail outlet and still get in too.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
get
but
in
even
all
then,
sorts of different ways.
there's a lot of limits. It's not just as simple as going. It's like each. I don't know, I want to quote this because I'm not sure, but like Best Buy locations, I think that 2 people per location get to go or
Yeah, but
something
think
like
about that.
Yeah, I know.
How many
but it's
Best
like
Buys are there? That's like another 2,000 people that are going to that show that like aren't necessarily in the industry.
But I mean, we're talking Best Buys in that area.
Sure.
Like, people aren't going to fly out. Well, I mean, some
people would.
Yeah,
You know,
some people would. But I mean, it's like
not
the point
GameSpots,
is, it's not just
GameStops.
they're not just letting anyone in. And it's like even if you want to go, like you do need to you need to prove yourself in some way that
I'll
you
tell
can.
you this though, I bet it would be probably easier to get into E3 than Comic-Con.
No.
Dude, if you can't get a ticket to Comic-Con, you're not going. Like that lottery system's absurd. The way you have to sign up for Comic-Con these days, and then like you have to like buy a vial and put your blood in, and it has to check that maybe you have the vampire strain. There's like all sorts of weird shit you gotta do to get into Comic-Con these days.
Well, I get that. I
weird
still
press
think
pass.
it's easier to get into Comic-Con because it's publicly sold.
Yeah, but then they sell out in like a day.
But are we
Yeah,
still,
I know,
so
but
you're
like-
talking about as an industry, it's easier to get
Well,
into.
I'm talking about if I wanted to go to Comic-Con right now,
Yeah.
3 weeks out.
Sure.
It would be, I'm not getting a ticket. It's impossible. I have to buy it on the black market.
Well, yeah, but you could do that. You
Potentially.
can't buy an E3 ticket.
I don't know. I bet you can
You
get it.
probably could, but you shouldn't be selling those because then that's a quick way to get blackballed by everybody.
Well, that's what I'm saying is like, but they like check ID, and like with E3, they check ID against the thing, and it's like, yeah, you could get in for some of the days, and
That's
but
my
then
favorite
once
thing.
you get caught, then you're fucked.
That's my favorite thing though, is that we get our passes and then there'll be a door where guys like the people are getting in fake passes or whatever, and so they're like one guy is checking ID and you just go to the door like right next to him and just walk.
Yeah.
Like that's how secure it is.
You
Like,
see it and you just keep walking until you see someone not checking ID.
but nonetheless, I mean, to wrap it up in a succinct way, if you're ready to wrap it up, Tim, is I mean, my kind of closing argument is that this year authentically is the first year I'm like really, really excited to go again, because we just get to experience it now in a different way, in a way that I think Greg maybe experienced it a little more than I was able to experience it until maybe a couple of years ago, where like I still was really in the trenches and I was still in the shit when I was at E3, man, and it's really, really a rough show. So yeah, like I get it, and I understand how fucking annoying it is to hear that from someone. Like I've been to 93s and I don't ever want to go again, like kind of thing. But it's like, it's just, trust me, I'm not lying. Like that's just been my experience. If other people have different experiences, that's great. But I'm telling you, the people in the industry I know, no.
I
like the way people just faces gloss over by the time it's June. They're like, oh, because you know what you're getting yourself into. It's
mountain's in front of you.
It's never manageable. You never do everything you need to do. You don't hit everything you need to hit, and it's troublesome. And as someone who just doesn't care for previewing games and doesn't care for playing games early, because I just look at a game, like when I see a game and I'm like, oh, that looks good, Like Witcher 3, when I saw Witcher 3 like years ago, and I was like, oh, that looks really fun. I never looked at it again ever until we played it.
Yeah.
In like March.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'll play it when it gets here.
Yeah.
You know, same with like Batman, like Arkham Knight. Like that game looks great. I'm like, I don't even know anything about it, and it's kind of fun going into it.
I haven't played Arkham Knight because it's like that's where it especially gets in weird when you wait a long time to play a sequel. It's like, what?
Oh,
You already
but that
know how
looks-
it's gonna be.
That looks different though. Arkham Knight looks freaking awesome.
Well, yeah. So did the last 3 Batman games. I'm ready to play them. I'm not ready
Is it
to
gonna be
fucking
play-
play 10 minutes of
Do
them.
we know if it's gonna be playable on the show floor?
It'll be like
Yeah, it'll be
out
a
the
week
next
out.
week?
Yeah. It's, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
my biggest thing for playing the games. I don't like previewing games either, just because it's like it seems like a waste. But I just want to know if things feel right, and that's usually for like reboots or like when things come back. It's like I remember when the Tony Hawk HD whatever was announced. I was like, I need to play it, and then just to know if it felt right, and it didn't. And I was like, well, fuck. That sucks, you know, or like Smash Bros. It's like I want to play it. I want to know how the physics feel, and like it's stuff like that I think really are. But then I'm done. It's like all right, Smash Bros. is the one exception though,
That's
because
an
we
exception.
fucking played a shit ton.
Yeah,
of
we just
E3.
kept going back. That was fun. But see, you're also it does depend on your sort of mentality toward it. Like I'm more with Colin, where I don't like the hype as much as the payoff of actually having the thing in my hands, like in my living room or in put it in terms of things that I like. I don't like seeing 1,000 trailers for a movie. I would just rather be like, oh, the movie's coming out, cool. Radio silence till I go and see it, right? And so it just depends on who you are. Like you have the kind of mindset where you're like, you want to know everything about everything right now, and you want to know it before anyone else does, and you just like that. That's like a hobby of yours. I don't care. If I have to wait in line for 3 hours, like right now, if someone said, hey, you could go see a special sneak preview of Batman v Superman right now, but you have to wait 8 hours in line, I'd be like, no thanks.
Entire movie?
Yeah,
I'd go.
I wouldn't wait. I don't think I would. Why?
Zack Snyder, if you're listening,
The
I'll wait.
entire movie.
Yeah. If someone's like,
You
still-
wouldn't wait 8 hours to
8
see
hours
the entire
in line.
movie.
You have to stand in line for 8 hours.
Yeah.
I don't think I would.
Got that Vita?
You're crazy.
Got my
I
bottle
just
of
don't think anything's that good. That like I would
I'm
need
kinda
to
with
see
you on
it.
that, where it's like, whatever.
nothing's that good.
Your
Like
time's important.
I would rather go see it in a theater with pot, like relax and on my time schedule. You know, and same with games. Like it's not a pleasant experience. It's not. And like just because I get to see it, like what's the point of experiencing when you're drained after like going through a freaking war? You know, which I mean
Or
it is. I mean,
sitting in a
it's-
line.
No, it's not that.
I think
Like,
it's apples and
at
oranges, the
E3, you're
Batman
up till-
E3 comparison.
Well, here's the thing. You're up till 4 o'clock in the morning writing, right? And then the next day you got to get up at 7 o'clock to keep writing. And there's never a sense of finish. You're never done. There's always something you could be doing. It's traumatizing. It's stupid. It's dumb.
It is
And,
it is a little
and no one
traumatizing.
helps you prioritize ever because I'm not talking. I don't want to go on a tangent, but like the methodology is always like get as much as you can done, like cover as much as you possibly can, like talk about as much as everything you're supposed to talk about, and it's like it's just it's a stressful set of circumstances, and you're supposed to go sit and enjoy something that's let's not forget these are supposed to be enjoyed, like these games, and it's just not it's not an environment that I find conducive. So my brain immediately just turns off. I'm like, I don't want to fucking deal with that. I'd rather wait 6 months, and when the experience comes to me, I will enjoy it if it is enjoyable.
E3 is awesome. Some of my best memories are in that war room, 2 a.m, surrounded by people who sleep deprived and stupid.
Hashtag blessed.
Hashtag blessed. Colin.
I kind of got to poop, so I'm gonna go do that now.
Okay.
Sorry. I never take the bathroom breaks.
I kind of got to poop.
Don't get mad at me.
I'm not mad at you. I'm proud that you finally joined the ranks.
Colin.
Yes.
It's time for your topic, but first, we want to say thank you to everybody who supported us on patreon.com/kindafunny in April. Thank you all for all of your support over there. You let us live this dream. You allow us to do all these stupid things we do. We thank you for that. Colin, what's your topic?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I want to talk about instruments, musical instruments.
Oh, the
particular-
old skin flute.
So the reason I bring this up, you can play the skin flute in the New York Philharmonic. Greg, you're so good at it, but
He's had offers.
huh?
He's had offers.
Yeah, he's had offers.
Yeah.
What does one play the skin flute with one's mouth or with one's fingers?
I think it's a two-handed and mouth.
so like a
instrument.
clarinet.
Two-handed?
It's like a flute. You're like this,
Man.
but it is more like a clarinet or an alto sax, right?
alto
Where it's
sax.
like-
oboe.
or an oboe,
Okay, so I wanted to ask you guys this
but
question.
not a bassoon.
The reason I asked this question to this group of people is because even though we're all music fans, I'm the only one I think that plays any instruments, right?
I've played the trumpet.
when you were a young man, right?
Yes, I haven't played an instrument.
Could I
Other
give you a
than
trumpet
skin.
right now? Could you play the trumpet?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'd shroud that shit.
Would you?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, so this
Played for like 15 years, so.
yeah, okay, so this is a question even maybe less for you then.
Sure.
So the reason I asked this question is because I grew up playing the drums for a long time, and I also played saxophone for a little while and piano for a little while. And then when I was older, in high school, I picked up guitar and bass for the first time. And then when I was in college, I really played almost guitar and bass almost exclusively because I just couldn't have drums with me in my dorms and then in apartments and stuff like that. And now these days, I can still sit behind a drum kit and play great. I mean, that's always what I'll consider myself, but I play bass probably most competently.
Sure.
In terms of the string instruments. So I was curious, like, if you guys could pick up any instrument and be totally proficient at it. So, like, it's not a thing where you have to learn how to play it. You pick up your 6-string bass, your 5-string bass, and you just know how to play it, for instance.
Yeah.
What instrument would you choose, and why would you choose it?
Piano.
Piano?
Yeah, I love the piano. It's awesome. When you see somebody who can play the piano well, it's amazing. Especially when you when we at that Patreon party we had at GDC, right? When at the end there, the guy just came in, sat down, and started playing the piano. You're like, fucking, that's badass. Because you know what I mean? Like, granted, you have to tune a piano, but like guitars, you strum a few and then you start screwing around with it, and then you start giving away that you know what you're doing. Whereas I think it'd be such a cool party trick to go to parties or whatever, be able to sit down and just be awesome at
And
piano.
not do chopsticks.
Yeah, actually play something really good.
Well, you've also got the opportunity to be like a Jeff Goldblum or I think Bill Murray plays piano as well, where they just like you're at a party and you're just there and there's a piano and you start playing and start talking at the same time, and it just is that sort of like that old school, very suave comedian mentality where you're like, you know, Zach Galifianakis used to do that too.
Oh, yeah,
where he'd
yeah,
sit there
yeah.
and play and like make jokes about it. It's just very entertaining. The piano.
I love piano music.
Yeah.
So it's soothing, calms you down.
I think it's very versatile too. That's my favorite thing about it is that you can, you know, there's the classical stuff, but like obviously there's a lot of just other types of genres you can play with piano music. And I feel like knowing how to play a piano very proficiently would then allow me to play other instruments by default. Because if you can understand wrapping your head around reading 2 sets of sheet music at the exact same time, doing with 2 different hands and stuff like that, which I'm assuming is how piano works.
You mean the clefs? Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
You play bass clef or treble clef with your right hand and bass clef with your left hand.
Yeah, it's like if you
Generally.
can train yourself to do that, like I feel like that gives you an understanding of music on a deeper level than most other things. So you'd be able to like jump onto other instruments.
Yeah, piano is interesting because I took piano lessons for a year and I was okay, but
Yeah, me too.
But it was a challenging instrument to play because the first instrument I played in school was sax, and I liked it, but it was just I was like, this is not what I'm into. And I started playing drums by myself, and then I took lessons later and became quite proficient. I mean, that's like really the instrument I'm best at, but is both snare and like a whole kit, and that's just something I understand better than something else. And actually, piano is very closely associated with drums. It's a percussion instrument, so you can play it in a lot of different ways. I'm more excited about like the proficiency of jumping from piano to synth or piano to like some sort of key accompaniment or whatever.
Because what you're saying is you learn piano and then you're a hop, skip, and a jump away from the keytar,
Yeah. Oh, I love.
Which is
dude,
obviously the end goal.
which is clearly the zenith of all great musical instruments.
That's what everybody wants.
But that's another reason like I would go with piano is because that is kind of the basis for a lot of the MIDI instruments and stuff. So like making like hip hop beats and shit. If you know how to play a piano, it's like really helpful.
Well, make no mistake. Like when you go to music school, you have to learn how to play piano. Piano is like the instrument that you do any musical scoring from. You don't sit down and like Danny Elfman doesn't sit down in front of his lead guitar and go, okay, I'm gonna write like the Batman theme. No, you sit in front of a piano, and that's sort of how everything starts when you're writing music. So like I think I think everyone has to learn piano. Like my buddy Scott is a band director. I'm pretty sure like you have to have a functional knowledge of that instrument.
Yeah, it's hard, man.
If you're gonna do anything in
I
music.
took a couple months of it and my head wouldn't click with it. I did trumpet for a long time, and I almost went to high school at School of the Arts for trumpet. I'm happy that didn't happen because I'm here now.
Yeah, it worked out.
Yeah.
I played trumpet for a very long time, mostly because I took about 6 months of piano, and I can't. It's very difficult for me to get both of my hands working at the same time in that regard. Now, when the skin flute's a different story because you just kind of feel that. You know what I
every
mean?
skin flute's different.
It is, but at the same time, you can get a general understanding of the feel for it.
Yeah.
And then you don't really even think. Your hands just do what your hands need to do. But for like, I could never play drums. I could play. I just couldn't. I can't get my hands working independently in order to actually do the beats. I just can't do it. And then when you put feet into that, forget about it. It's
good
not
Lord.
happening. So for me, trumpet was because you mostly just focus on these 3 fingers, and then you have this works well to tune your different valves. That's all you really have to worry so much about, which is same reason with the instrument that I would pick, which would be guitar. I would do a 6-string guitar, and here's why. Driving up to Tahoe recently, I was listening to a little band. I don't know if you guys have heard of these guys. They're called Guns N' Roses.
Oh yeah, know them well.
And you just hear that sound, right? Just Slash when Slash comes in, and it's good. And it goes from, oh, hey, I can play this instrument, to this is a god on stage. Like, this person, when he starts shredding, panties drop. Mm-hmm. And if there's any reason to start playing music or to be in any real entertainment field, it's to make panties drop. True story. True story. Like, what you're talking about is, yeah, you want to make panties drop at the party. You really do.
Yeah.
Theoretically speaking.
No,
I'm not
you're
saying
saying.
figuratively, like, because then that would be just dangerous. People would be tripping all over the panties.
Sure.
You can't have that.
I want to. Yeah, the base of your argument is you want to be the cool guy at the party.
I don't want to be the cool guy at the party. I'm saying if you said, hey, you could learn any instrument, I would be like, guitar has always been the instrument that, like, just think about it when you're in your car and that solo comes up and you start going like this, but you don't know what the hell you're doing. You're driving with your knee. You know
Wheels
what I mean?
just spinning out of
everything's
control.
You're trying to go like, and you're moving these fingers, but you don't know if you're supposed to be moving those fingers or not. I always thought guitar, because it's the power instrument. It is the instrument that is up front in the sound of any rock band or any alt band or any band that really uses guitar. So, yeah, I would just want that. I would want to be able to do that and sing at the same time, because I always thought that was fascinating. I've always admired people that can play guitar eloquently and also, like, sing the melody, because again, it's another thing I can't do. If you gave me like rock band, or not rock band, a Guitar Hero, and said, okay, while you're doing this, sing the lyrics, I would no, I can't. My
Rock
brain
Band
doesn't
has
work
you do
that
that.
way.
There's
Rock bands?
modes where you play the guitar and sing the song.
Screw it. No, that gives me anxiety just thinking about it.
This is such a cop-out answer because, I mean, it's not technically an instrument, but my answer would be singing, if that was
Interesting.
okay. Because, like, man, if you can fucking do that, you can do anything.
Your voice is
And that's
an instrument.
where the panties drop, is the singing.
I like singing.
Like, I wish I could sing. I wish that I could hit notes or just even, like, have that, but I can't. It's like I'm so limited in my range. And it's like, it's interesting because I have an okay talking voice, as you guys might know. But I can't sing. You can fucking sing. You can sing your goddamn little heart out.
Why did you feel it necessary to get sexy?
Because he wants to let you know
they
that
need
he
to know.
knows he has
I
a good
want you to
voice.
know, I'm listening to you. Listen to me.
What?
I'm talking to your mouth and your ear holes. Anyway, I love singing, but my brother used to sing, so he was the one that got me into it. And he used to do like
he
musicals
good?
and stuff.
Matt Scarpino, a
Matt's
good singer?
amazing, yeah, he's better than me. You should like
Really?
Oh God, yeah, he's amazing. Like,
Because
so
you're good. Like, you're legitimately good.
I mean, I can sing.
Yeah.
I can. It's not. I don't pretend to sing well, but I did musical theater.
Give me some stuff. Give me some stuff.
What do you want
I'm
me to
sailing
Don't put him
away.
on. Don't put him on.
I'm
Princes of
sailing
the universe.
away.
Okay, you want me to sing Styx? That's what you want?
Yeah.
The band that is constantly in the upper octave?
Sailing.
Anyway, no, I did musical theater for 4 years in high school, and then was also like, I mean, you're around it. I was in marching band, so you just are around people that can sing, and you start doing it, and that's what it is. It's hard. You have to. Some people just don't have the ear for it, and that's where it becomes difficult, because I don't think that there are a lot of things that you can teach someone how to do, and I think I'm a firm believer that with hard work and with time and consistency, and like you put the effort in, you can see great results. But some people physically just can't hear the tone, the pitch. They can't get the pitch, so they're always singing off tune, or they don't have the capabilities of singing higher octaves, things like that.
That's my thing. I hear it. I know that I'm doing
Right.
it wrong. It's just I can't do it.
That's hard, and you have to train. your ear
Kevin,
to
on the
that.
other hand, Kevin has a hearing problem. That motherfucker. Holy shit. Have you heard him sing? You guys have heard him sing.
Yeah.
All right. It drives me nuts. And at this point, I just give him a look. Because now that I'm around him freaking 24 hours a day, before it used to just be like 15 hours a day.
Yeah, now you're around him
But now
all
it's
the
just
time.
fucking constantly. But he'll just sit there and he'll start humming. And it's like, one of you guys, usually one of you two, will just be fucking have some song stuck in your head for the day. So you just fucking keep singing it over
Yeah.
and
What
over
were you
and
singing
over.
earlier today?
Whatever Colin was listening to this morning. Now I have sticks in my head, so sorry, can't help you
All
out.
right.
Whatever it is, there's something. And then Kevin will just be sitting there and just start humming and just go. And it's like, what is that?
Right.
And it's like, oh, it's the Michael Jackson song. It's like, that's no Michael Jackson song. What the hell is that? It's like, it's Thriller. That's not Thriller. It's like, you're just making fucking noises.
Right.
Oh, it bothers me so
Yeah,
much.
some people
'cause
just
it's like,
they don't have you could sing. You can sing.
I did some musical stuff.
So if you I don't know how far deep into it you've gotten, but if you worked with a vocal coach who taught you how to breathe correctly and where the air was supposed to come from and how to support, you could be a singer. Like you could, easily. You have good pitch. And that's really the hardest thing.
You want an E? E.
That's not how that works.
Yeah, that's
How about A minor?
But what's crazy is there are people that would have, like, I guarantee there are people watching this right now that would be like, that's not an ESB flat. Like, they would tell you what note you just sang. I'm not that.
Like a Schwagman.
But there are people that have something that's
Anna
called
Kendrick.
perfect pitch, which is...
It's pitch perfect.
That's where that term comes from, which is, they call it perfect pitch, and you have perfect. But in other words, like if you play a note on piano, they'll go, "That's an A flat," or "That's a E," whatever. I can't do that. Like I always start songs, and then they'll play the real song. I'm like, "Oh, that's the wrong key. Let's bring it back down over here, right?" Or usually I sing a lot lower than possible, but it's fun. Singing, being able to sing is fun. If for no other reason, then it is probably the number one most practical instrument to be able to have at your disposal during parties. Not during parties, but during, like, if you're going, like, karaoke singing, for instance.
Oh, sure.
That's a blast. When people don't know you can sing and you start singing something and you're like, of course, you could always just do what I do and default to gin and juice.
Yeah. That's usually
easier.
my go-to.
You don't have to sing that. You just kind of
talk.
pop it.
Oh.
Gotta pop it.
Pop it.
See, but that's something that's interesting to me, too, though. It's like when you bring rap into it, rap is not as easy as I think people think it is. They're like, oh, you're just talking fast. And it's like, no, you really got to kind of understand the rhythm and like hit it on the right notes and understand the counts and all that stuff. And like the theory behind how it works. Because as we've seen before, when we've worked with people, like trying to get them to rap, it's like, man, how do you not hear this right now is the way I feel. But then it's like, oh, maybe it's just like, it's this in the same way that I just can't physically sing. They can't physically hear it in the right way to understand.
Well, you're dealing with the same
words go.
general principles, right? You're dealing with rhythm. And you're dealing with, you also, by the way, can rap off key. A lot of people don't realize that, but when you rap, you are rapping in a specific key to a specific song that's in that key. Like if you start rapping a little bit lower or you go minor, you go sharp, it's going to sound really weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're dealing with rhythm and you're dealing with performance as well. And that's the other thing that people don't realize with singing is that there is a certain amount of you have to enunciate, you have to support, you have to. It's an instrument. You are learning piano, but you are just the instrument is just formed inside of your body, like all good things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's gross. That part's gross.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, I mean, the only thing I want to say is that, like, to me, the best instrument is drums, and I that's because I grew up playing them, and that I could still, even though I don't have like my kit here, it's still in New York. I can just sit behind a drum kit and play it, and I really don't like lose a beat, as it were. I have
what draws you to drums?
I don't know.
You say it's the best instrument. All of ours were ones we'd want to share with people. Drums aren't.
Yeah, like it was.
Like I have no interest in hearing you drum. No offense.
No, I'm not offended by that at all. My friend Christian used to make fun of me. We were in a band together in high school and college. We
White side of the table.
Exactly. No, Paper Jam. And he used to kid around. He's like, there's musicians and then there's drummers, because a lot of people like don't think of drums even as an instrument. There's an argument to be made because you're not making notes necessarily with a drum, that it's basically not an instrument in the traditional sense. But
yeah,
it's the backbone of every song, and you know when a drummer is bad. Like, listen to the White Stripes for 5 seconds. It's awful. Like I don't care how good like the guitar and the vocals are in that. Like Meg White sucks at drums, and it detracts from it, and it's famous. Like everyone knows that.
Shots.
Like she's awful.
Colin, you better watch your back, brother.
What's he doing?
I think he's talking shit.
What happens when you talk shit?
No, but this
Roll
is
a video. Hey Tim, how you doing?
I'm good, Nick, but Colin Moriarty and Greg Miller are talking shit again.
What? Don't they know what happens when they talk shit?
Perhaps we should remind them.
You talk shit, what? You get shot. Yeah. You talk shit, what? You get shot. Yeah. You talk shit, what? You get shot. Yeah. If you out here talking shit, then you know you bout to get shot. Greg Miller needs to pay for 2 wherever he go. And it ain't cause he's team fat, nah, it's for his ego. Calling for Prez, can I get a PlayStation Vito? He's super frustrating like a hard to find amiibo.
Tim, what's next?
That's all we wrote, Nick.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay. That's fun.
I don't like usually going down that path,
No,
but
we're
like
not doing that today.
what's his name?
Jack White.
Jack White, amazing musician, and like an amazing singer, and then it's just like ding 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 ding, ding. Like, and it's like give that to like a competent drummer and like
But
you
that
can
was
and make
their
that song more
thing.
dynamic.
That's their
no, it was that
thing,
thing because she
though.
couldn't play and she never got any better and it was a problem.
Right.
And
Jack White on the other hand.
Jack White's like a totally impressive guitar player and singer and songwriter. So like there was a dissonance. That's the band that always comes to mind where I'm like, there's a dissonance between the skill of the drummer and the skill of everything else going on in the song, and it ruins the song for me. Because drumming
Who do you
is
think the best drummer is? We've had this conversation before.
the
Who's your
best
favorite?
drummer.
Who's your favorite
Neil
drummer?
Peart.
My favorite drummer is Chad Sexton from 311, but like Neil Peart's like one of the great drummers. I think that probably
311. Oh,
Stuart,
yeah,
311.
311 has a very technical sound too. when
Yeah,
it comes
no,
to the drum
311's
kit.
drums are insane. Like that's almost an undeniable fact about 311. Whether or not you like them or not, like Chad Sexton writes most of their songs. He's the drummer and writes most of their songs, which tells you everything you need to know about it. Like he'll write the song on guitar, so he's just a musician. But I think the most technically sound drummer and like the drummer I like listening to really the most is Stuart Copeland from the Police. He's fucking insane.
Interesting.
But I was drawn to drums as a very young kid because I grew up in a household that was very musical. My parents was very into music. My sister plays instruments and stuff, or she played the flute and all these kinds of things. So like really random instruments. The real flute.
Okay, it's his sister, for Christ's sake.
The real flute.
What? We all said we're experts at the skin flute. We can't make one fucking look at the camera. I'll do what I want.
This is the same sister that called us not only an hour ago to congratulate us on everything looking good. I want you to know that. So how bad do you feel now, Miller? How
You're the
bad do you
dirtiest
feel
one in the
now?
group. I don't need to hear. I don't need anything from you, you scumbag.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I
So
am the dirtiest
the
one.
one thing I wanted to say was that I was drawn to drums, and then I developed really bad habits playing drums early, and I played open handed and stuff like that, which is fucking stupid. And you where you don't cross your arms, like it's just you play
How the
like
hell
with a
did you do
hi-hat. So
that?
if you're playing like you're playing a right-handed kit with your hi-hat next to your snare, and then your snare and your
I've never seen people play open-handed
There's
before.
some people that still play like that in bands and stuff, but
Really?
it doesn't make any sense. It's just technically unsound. So like when I
Yeah,
started
no.
playing around in 4th and 5th grade with drums, I'd play like dot 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 dot, like with my hands like that
backward.
and really I should have been playing a left-handed kit. But I'm dominant. Like I use both of I'm pretty ambidextrous, but I probably should have been playing left-handed all along. But by the time I took lessons, so like Muse's drummer, for instance, is a lefty, so his hi-hat's here and his snare is here, and he would cross over like that. But when I started taking lessons, like a couple years later, I broke my teacher broke me of those habits immediately. And you can hold your stick like kind of sideways, like they would
can do
play
the
a snare.
traditional marching
But
band,
I don't. That doesn't make any sense to me either. So
I don't think a lot of rock people do that though.
no,
I can't think
all
of
jazz drummers play like that.
Yeah,
but
that's more of a jazz
Because
style.
it's more because you're like measuring on the your stick on the snare a lot more with like ghost notes and stuff. You just need to have like a different grip. But so I started playing like that. But I guess I'm saying that because and then I started playing my rudiments, and I'm really pretty good at playing snare too, just like marching.
Give me a
and stuff like that.
paradiddle right now.
A paradiddle? You want me? Well, I'll give you. Actually, I was kidding out more about this with
Ramon.
no, with Christian, the same guy, where I was like, I have to look. He's like, he found my old drum pad that I left like at his house.
Did you have one of the octagonal drum pads that you flip over? It was one surface, and then the other surface you flip it over. It's like a harder.
Yeah, like one side was
One
like
was hard rubber,
it was
and the other one was like really soft rubber.
Yeah, one was like a Remo like white head that you could like,
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
like
yeah, I remember
bounce,
that
and then the
one.
other one was like a soft like black rubber like this.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
was
yeah.
like that was flimsy. And I was like, he was like, he's like, start working on your rudiments, and I'm like, I don't remember any of my rudiments. Paradiddle was like,
right. It's
so
yeah,
like
all
that
sides.
was,
I can never
but
do
it's
it.
like it's trans like.
Paradiddle. I think it's that.
Yeah, what is the one where it's I don't remember. I haven't done any of my rudiments since like 9th grade.
There are people that are out there that are drumming that are like, Shah!
Well,
Know what to call
it was like
Flip in the car.
like your flamacue and shit like that. I'm like, whatever. I took those lessons and I did all those things, but then I really got into playing my kit and took lessons on my kit. And I think I've told a story about how my drum teacher in high school when I started taking kit lessons was obsessed with Billy Joel, which is no surprise. So and Billy Joel's not hard to play on drums. It's just it's a metronome way of playing drums. Like. It just doesn't get.
What's the matter with the
So it's a fun way to just learn rhythm, which a lot of people don't have. A lot of drummers have a hard time playing live. For instance, they play everything fast, which is why when you see a lot of live shows, everything's played like super fast. Like Green Day, for instance. Trey Cool was like one of my heroes. I actually got to meet him and talk to him, and it was awesome when I was an adult. But like he plays fast.
Yeah.
And that's just because you're excited or whatever. So like playing slow, soft, easy shit is a good way to learn rhythm.
Yeah.
And like to not jump ahead. But I just brought that up because when I was in high school, my friends, play guitar and bass, and I'm like, I want to learn how to play guitar and bass. And I started teaching myself how to play, and I play bass pretty proficient, like not like Ramon plays bass, but I can play it. And guitar, I'm like okay with. There's videos of Greg and I playing, like singing songs
Right.
where I'm playing guitar. But I taught myself terrible habits that I can never break now. Like, I started playing guitar when I was 14, and I'm 30 now, and I don't use my middle finger on the fretboard.
That's weird.
That's
how do you do that? How do you do these?
Because
things?
The thing I learned, like, I was learning how to play bar. I was learning how to play bar chords first.
So just this.
So I'd play 311, and if you're playing, you hold, down, down, it's just holding the low E string down at the 3, and then holding the other 2 down with my ring finger, even though that's not the way you're supposed to play it, 2 apart. So it's like, and then I just learned how to play my bar chords like that, and I cannot use my middle finger. And then that transferred over to bass, and that's a really bad instrument to not use your middle finger on, because if you want to have like any proficiency at all playing anything other than like Fallout Boy or something like that, which is like just easy, like that's easy to play. You can use one finger to play that. But if you want to, so I say that just because if you want to learn how to play those instruments, or you want to learn how to play drums, like I even developed bad habits on drums that were broken because I was young and I was a novice still. Take lessons.
Oh yeah,
like that's the one thing I tell people is,
well, find a good instructor too.
Yeah, but there are like I'm always fascinated in 311, which people give shit obviously too, but they're all great musicians and they all still take lessons. Like they talk about it all the time about how like they've been playing instruments for 30 years. And they still take bass lessons and guitar lessons and stuff to learn new things, to learn new techniques, to solidify things that they're not good at, to work on their finger movement or whatever it is, to work on your rudiments or your rolls or anything like that if you're playing drums. So I always encourage people, like, regardless of the instrument you're into, like, don't teach yourself how to play. It's not a good idea. More often than not, like, Ramon taught himself how to play guitar, but Ramon's like kind of like a phenom.
Yeah.
Like he's a savant in instruments, like where he can pick up a banjo and play it. He can pick up a bass and a guitar and play it. He can play a stand-up bass. He can play, and he never took any lessons ever. And he's also way better than almost anyone I've ever met.
Well, but I mean,
that's a 1 in a million kind of.
Your level of motivation dictates how good you're going to get at anything, right? It doesn't matter. Case in point, I took lessons at trumpet. I hated my instructor, so that actually drove me to not progress because I was like, I don't want to practice. Screw this guy. And so I learned everything I needed to learn just by being in band class and having the instructor do like not a one-on-one instruction, but just basically like telling us as we would go. Because you're in band class like 5th grade. There's like 5 people in band class, and so you're basically getting private lessons. But yeah, I mean, the people that I know that still play today and excelled at the instrument were the guys that like they picked it up, they decided they love it, immediately got into with a good instructor who could encourage them the right way. Because a lot of these instructors too are just like guys that. They didn't really make it as a musician, and they kind of want to just fucking beat you down, right? And it's like tough love, but I'm like, but dude, I'm in 7th grade. Like, I don't know how I'm supposed to think or what if I even want to do this for the rest of my life. Can't you be like nice to me and like be encouraging and like understanding? But yeah, so I had a bad instructor. I ended up not taking lessons. I did it for like 6 months, and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore, and it really put me off from even considering that as a career. Plus, I kind of knew I never had it.
Yeah, I got stubborn with drums too, where like I felt like I was a very good drummer by the time I was in high school, like mid to late in high school, where I was like, I don't want to take lessons anymore either. And I got better on my own, but I wish that I stuck with lessons because I was actually learning things. Like, because the one thing that no matter how good I am at playing drums is that I struggle a lot with double bass. And
with a double bass pedal.
Yeah.
Oh, everyone does though.
Well, no, but I shouldn't because I have great foot movement with my hi-hat. So if you're playing like the ride cymbal over here, you don't have to worry about the hi-hat, but you should still keep it probably going for rhythm. And that's not a problem for me. And I'm playing my bass independently. Double bass should actually be easier to play than that because it's really just alternating. And I can play a double bass probably at like 64th notes maybe.
Jesus.
Like for a few seconds.
Yeah, I was like, no.
But like by the time you're getting into like 128th notes and like,
are you guys
like,
familiar with
think
what
about like
he's talking
one, like Metallica's one, like that's fucking awesome. And like he's rolling on the bass.
No,
it's not only like playing, like he's rolling.
Yeah,
and
it's too much.
I was
insane.
like, fuck. Like if I just stuck with it, I would have been technically better. Where I can never play a Metallica song, So I play like more hard and alt rock or whatever. So I just want to encourage people out there, like, don't get discouraged. Like, play your instruments and really take lessons and take them seriously. And if you're 16 like I was, and you're like, I'm gonna be the next fucking, Neil Peart. I don't need any more lessons. Like, you always can learn something, and I ended up meteoring out at something above average because. I can sit behind a drum set and still play it today, but I really wish that I took it more seriously. So I just want to encourage.
No, it's true.
Like, because I love music and I listen to it every day, and I've always loved to play the drums, and I'll always fuck around with the bass and guitar and become good at it. But man, it was like you were saying, like when you're a kid, you don't know any better, or you don't know. But like, music's so important, and it's good to take it seriously and to learn from people that can teach you. And you're never too good to learn. And I became stubborn playing drums to where I was good, but I could have been great. I could have been awesome. And it was all because, and there's like huge deficiencies in my drum game because of it, I'm
sorry, continue.
No, so I just know how I just want to talk to people out there that are taking it, maybe you don't have the right teacher or anything like that, but shake those bad habits, because I wish I just took people's advice when I was in college and I just take guitar lessons, and now I will never be able to play the guitar with my middle finger. And I can play things fine and I have good movement, but you do have to start over. You have to start over.
You do.
And like after 15 years of playing the guitar half right, you can't. It's just that you can't teach an old dog new tricks. With bass, it's a little different. I play bass with a pick and I play a 4-string bass, so it's a little more manageable. But I see someone like Ramon work a bass, and it's like I'll never, ever, ever, ever play that well. Hearing him play like that, that bass line from Muse's Hysteria that we were talking about, like he just like plays that without even like thinking about it.
I was. It's
like I have to like really think to play, because I don't have that novice approach that you needed. I just jumped in and looked up tablature, which is probably the worst thing that ever happened to any musician. And reading tabs is fun and it's easy, but you need to read music and you need to like learn how to play the instruments properly. If tab wasn't available for me playing on guitar and bass, and for people that don't know tab, do you guys know what tab is?
Nope.
Tab is a way to play guitar and bass where instead of reading the music, because I could read music as a drummer. Drum music is, there's a line for snare and a line for bass, and it's manageable, and I don't remember how to read it anymore. But that's how I learned how to play. With guitar and bass, you can play tab, which is it's ASCII. It's 6 strings written with dashes, and then it just has numbers on it. And so it'll be like low E string 1 1 1 2 2 2 1 1 1, and all that means is that you hold the first fret, and that's how you play 1 1. But like that teaches you bad habits, because then you're like, I can play anything, and then you just start looking up things, and your finger movements all fucked up, and you're just trying to figure out how to play things that you're not supposed to play in that set.
And then it becomes impossible to sight read too. Like so when you get a real musical sheet in front of you that should look like chaos, your brain can't decipher it because you just get used to seeing it the other way.
Yeah, so I wish that I was a little more patient and a little more procedural in the way I learned those instruments, because I can play guitar and we can fuck around. I can play John Mayer with Greg and it's fun, or I can play filter with Greg and it's fun, but I'm not holding it right. When I looked up how to play filter, I'm playing it totally different than they play it. Like the way they hold their finger. Yeah. I watch a lesson of that song given by the guy who wrote and plays the song on that band, and he's holding everything totally different than I am. And I'm like, I don't know how to even play it like that.
That's another reason why these top pros never stop taking lessons too, is because you find someone you trust. It's not about them necessarily teaching you something you don't know. It's about them checking back in with you, similar to how people do when they work out, and having a trainer go, hey, you're developing this really weird habit that you should stop doing right now, or like, hey, try it this way, or like, especially with vocal coaches, they check in with you and they make sure that you're not straining your vocal cords, because you can develop nodes that you have to then have, like famously Adele had to have surgery because the way she sings, just your vocal cords rub together and they get little calluses on it.
Pivotal plot point in Pitch Perfect 1.
Yep.
There you go.
Who can forget? There you go. That was it.
Remember she's like, I can sing bass, and like, that's really weird.
That was the missing key. That's all I needed.
That's how
I took piano lessons until Prince of Persia: Sands of Time came out on PS2. And I was like, I'm not going back.
But that means you probably didn't also love music.
No, I did it as like a promise to myself when a friend died. And so then like I did it for a while, and then it was just like, I don't love music.
It's good enough.
Yeah, exactly. And if it does, that's the thing I'm trying to say. If it doesn't speak to you, then don't play. But if you want to become better and you really care about it, like do it the right way. Because I guess that's why I was curious about it. Like, so we have vocals, we have piano, and skin flute, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that was Greg's.
But like
that was Nick.
I remember it was Greg's.
But it's funny is that the instrument that I would really want to take lessons with the most is drums, and I play drums.
Yeah.
But I want to almost like I played drums since I was a little kid, and I'm good at them.
Yeah.
But I want to become better. I want to get over that. I want to be able to sit down and play One by Metallica, and like really fucking play that machine gun fucking bass drum. You know what I mean?
If we're talking lessons, I would probably take vocal lessons then. I don't have any desire to go back to trumpet, largely because you just like, it's hard. It's so fucking hard to practice that in a big city where you're surrounded by people.
Sure.
You'd have to get a rehearsal space.
But think about every time Mambo No. 5 came on, you'd fucking kill it.
Did
you listen to a lot of ska when you were a kid?
I didn't listen to a ton of ska. Like
That
I
surprises
was
me.
in high school when
The ska movement hit.
not Boss Tones.
Mighty Mighty Boss Tones?
Yeah, but I guess they were ska. No, who's the
No, they
big
definitely were.
one?
Real Big
Skeletones.
Real Big Fish?
Real big fish.
Yeah, I went through that whole movement. I was playing trumpet back then. I wasn't a huge fan of that. I loved guys like Arturo Sandoval. I loved guys like Perez Prado, guys that just like treated that instrument like it was a fucking precision weapon. You know, that could just, and I loved any band that the trumpet was the lead instrument in. And so you go back and listen like Arturo Sandoval, like A Mis Abuelos, or any of those songs that he played, and you're just like, this guy's singing through this, and then he's screaming through it, and it's amazing, like the power that you can get, because you just can't get that same power and that sound. And then I don't want to start this debate. And I don't want people to think that I'm in any way, shape, or form talking shit about woodwinds, but they're the inferior instrument, 100%. Brass is the way to go.
Oh shit! Shots fired.
100%.
Yeah, you don't want to
100%.
Don't say that to Curran. Curran, the old flute player. I think I've told the story before of him and the condensed version of this story.
Did he beat the hell out of somebody
beat
with a
the
flute?
shit out of someone with a flute, a trombone player. So
I'll tell you one thing right now. In the history of marching band, no flautist has ever beat someone who plays the trumpet. Ever.
Oh,
Just
the
fact,
trumpet,
doesn't
no.
work
The
that way.
Trumpet's
Trombone,
Trumpet's
perhaps.
great. I'm always fascinated by the trombone, and the trumpet always fascinated me because trombone in its own way, where the note was in the art of where it was held, right?
Correct.
But trumpet always really fascinated me because there's really only 4 things you can do, and it's so it's like the open note and then the 3 buttons and then the permutation of all of it. And that was what was so. I was like, damn, like, 'cause I would fuck around with my friend's trumpet. I'd be like, this is such a dynamic instrument for something that looks so
Simple.
easy.
Yeah.
You know, like I look at it and I'm like,
yeah.
there can't be anything hard about playing this. And then I'd play and I'd be like, I just held one button down. And it's like you're not breathing right through it, you know. And then you play like, and it's like it's like woodwind is hard too, but brass instruments, they're all hard. Like I couldn't play any of those things at all. I remember fucking around my sister's flute and being like, I have no idea how the fuck you even play this thing, you know, like
Yeah.
Blowing across that shit, I could never do it. My friends would give me their flutes, and I, to this day, have never successfully hit a note on a flute.
It is because you have to develop those muscles in your mouth and in your lips. Like that sounds dirty, but you have to.
Yeah.
When you first start playing trumpet, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, to be fair, they couldn't play
But
trumpet either. How to do that buzz?
Yeah, like getting the buzz and getting the air through your lips to the point where if it's just a little degree up or a little degree down, you're getting different octaves and you're getting different notes. It's crazy. It's awesome though. But it's like anything else you get the feel for. You practice it over years. And I could pick it up right now. It wouldn't be nearly as good as I used to be, but I wasn't that great anyway. But I could play some of the stuff. And that's the other thing too, is that muscle memory of you're talking about the fingers. I could probably, without thinking, if I thought about it, I wouldn't be able to do it. But if I put the trumpet to my lips and started playing, I bet I could play like some of the marches I used to play back in marching band or some of the field shows I used to play easily because you play it so many fucking times.
Yeah, I got Ukrainian bell carol on lock.
That yeah, well, you're a psychopath.
Yeah.
Staying outside girls' houses, just playing that one part over and over again. You creep bro.
Magic.
So take lessons and learn from people that know more than you, and you will be better for it. Unless you are Ramon and you just are a savant.
Fucking Ramon.
It's true.
Remember when we were at that house in Kentucky? There was like a banjo there. You start playing it. I'm like,
Yeah.
he's like, I'm like, you ever played the banjo before? He's like, no.
It's just a backwater guitar.
Well, in that regard, like I can kind of get that because if I were to pick up like a flugelhorn, I could pick up probably any of the brass instruments
Like a
and sort
baritone.
of play it. I could pick up a baritone. Oh, baritone's easy because baritone is it's trumpet. It's just you reach.
Different way.
No, I'm thinking of the marching baritone, which is like it's giant trumpet. Which one's the baritone? Oh, baritone is this.
Baritone's
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I used to play baritone. Like you could play it. The only hard part about that was you have to read treble. So I'd have to have all my.
Oh, yeah.
I'd have to have all of my music.
Denoted down or whatever.
I would have to transcribe it
Yeah.
up to. I'm sorry, you have to read bass clef. I would transpose it up to treble clef because I could never figure that out. I just never put the time in.
Yeah.
I was like, oh fuck.
I wish I took drums earlier though. The only reason I played saxophone at all was because my friend Chris was playing sax. His name was Chris Hansen. And he was.
You knew Chris Hansen back in the
there's a
day?
different Chris Hansen.
Oh.
But he played sax, and so I
Lame.
played sax. I'm like, I should have taken snare from this early age because I played sax for like half a year, and I'm like, I don't want to fucking play this thing.
Yeah, that's a
I
hard.
played.
instrument.
I played alto sax back in school band, junior high band.
Sax. I'm glad I never played sax just because I did so much marching band that like one trumpet can stand out in a marching band way more than any woodwind instrument can because they just cannot produce the same volume of sound that a brass instrument can produce, especially a brass instrument that the frequency comes out at that high of a level. So I'm glad I played trumpet. I love trumpet, and in a marching band, trumpet is like the lead instrument, so it was amazing.
Nice. Nick,
Yo,
it's time for your topic. But before we jump into that, it's time to thank all the May Patreon subscribers. Thank you all for your support and your
Thank you.
lovely faces.
Thank you so much.
all the interaction on patreon.com. Nick, what's your topic?
I have to go to the bathroom. Sorry. I love you so much.
It's fine.
I'll be right back.
So, Nick, we've thanked them now. What's your topic?
My topic has something to do with where we just came back from, MomoCon.
MomoCon. Peach
Had a great time.
Con.
It is the Peach Con. It's the con for all the peach growers of Atlanta. Thankfully, they get to be a part of that show. No, these conventions always fascinate me because people go for a lot of different reasons. But I think the number one reason they go is for camaraderie, right? They get to be around like-minded friends. In our case, our community gets to sort of meet each other in person for the first time sometimes. I love hearing the fact that people come together and go, I've never actually met this person before. We talked on the forums or on the Facebook page or via Twitter, and now we're finally meeting each other. And of course, we're hitting it off because everyone
Best friends.
likes the same thing. So yeah, they're going to be really good friends. But I find it fascinating because these conventions didn't exist when I was young.
When you were a youngin'.
So I often wonder if I were that age and I were so inclined to go, would I A, go, and B, would I be a cosplayer if I did go? And if I were a cosplayer, and this is the topic, sorry for the long walk.
I was going to say there's like a bunch of subcategories to this topic.
What would I go as? So what are you guys' thoughts on cosplaying in general? Because it's kind of a crazy thing to see. You see it in pictures, but when you're walking around and you see the sheer amount of energy and creativity that goes into these costumes, how does that sit with you? Do you think it's absurd? Is it cool? Is it fun? And lastly, what would you go as if the Kind of Funny crew had to cosplay, with or without Portillo?
So wait, are we kids now or adults, or is this all different questions?
As an adult, how do you view cosplay? And if you had to dress up, gun to the head, what would you go as?
I love cosplay.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing. The amount of detail people put into it blow me away. My favorite holiday, Halloween. Best holiday of all time. I love Halloween. And so, I was always the kid who my mom made me costumes and worked at her sewing machine, made me all these different Ghostbuster suits, and then she'd give them to me and I would immediately critique something that's not movie accurate. You know what I mean? Get her really pissed off at me.
God, she must have hated you.
She fucking despised me, and it's the reason we don't speak anymore. But as I grew older, right, and I love my mom. She talks to me all the time. Sadly, no, I'm kidding, Mom. No,
Jesus, Miller.
Come on, have some fun. It's the GameOverGreggy show. Watch, Colin, we're doing it.
You came out of her vagina, for Christ's sake.
Then you do it. See, now I'm gonna do it to you.
Can I itch my eye? I've been trying to itch my eye for 15 seconds.
It's got to itch your eye, for Christ's sake.
So when I got my Ghostbusters costume, started actually making my movie accurate one. I made sure I got the patches from the right people, the right flight suit, made a few changes. So when I see somebody there and their proton pack lights up and does all this amazing shit, that's when I'm like, fuck, that's awesome. And then you start talking about like the ones that aren't even easy to do, right? Like mine's Ghostbusters is easy to do. Now you can buy everything from Think Geeker if you want, really, or whatever. Maddie Toys, Maddie Collector. But yeah, you see these people who, first off, are putting together amazing costumes, have amazing physiques, do all this. Like, I'm blown away every time I see cosplay, which is why, as an adult, I don't think I'll ever do cosplay because I don't have a body for any of the characters I love.
You can go. Yeah, I mean, you can always default to Ghostbusters.
Well, yeah, no, I already do the Ghostbuster shtick.
Jacked.
I already do the Ghostbuster shtick. That's one thing, but that's like played out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you see these people out there. Like, there was a great Superman walking around the con that was amazing, right? Yeah. And then of course there's a million attractive women dressed as Street Fighter characters who are like basically in their bikinis,
basically naked.
Holy crap! Like good on you, Jessica Nigiri. Every photo she posts of anything, you know what I mean?
Nigri.
Really?
Nigri.
Sorry, Jessica. I've never said your last name correctly.
It's one of those things where you've seen it for so long until
I just read it. I'm always like Nigiri, like sushi, right?
True story. And this is a sort of non sequitur. During when I was reading Harry Potter, I thought it was Cyrus Black until someone said, "No, it's Sirius." Like the star.
Sure.
And I was
I feel like that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right now, the one thing I've always thought of is if I ever broke down and quit Team Fat and was going to get in shape and was going to work out and was going to do...
what you're doing right now.
Yeah,
so basically, when do I work out? When do I work out?
You quit Team Fat a long time ago.
If I was to get into shape and get it all together, I think I could make a really good-looking Kingdom Come Superman. Because like Alex Ross Superman is not like cut, abs. You know what I mean?
big.
Yeah,
He's
he's
just
big.
bulky.
He's stocky. He's got that
Yeah.
thing. And like, and I already have the graying going on too. If I would just have to gray this out a little bit more.
You could get big.
Yeah,
by
I
the
could.
way. You've got the structure and the.
I could also learn to play piano, but then in both situations, video games came along, and I'm like, well, fuck this.
That's true. That's true. I'm just saying, if you were so inclined, you have the physique where you would get you could probably get pretty.
I would get,
fucking
as you
jacked.
say,
if you wanted to work
yacked.
with my trainer Courtney, who is in New Zealand right now, currently checks in with me once every month.
Do you work out in front of him on Skype?
No, but he goes. What happens is this: he's very, very kind, and he checks in with me to make sure that I'm doing the exercises. And I always, I don't lie to him, but I don't 100% tell him the truth because I'm a little bit lazy.
Does he watch the show?
Yeah, he watches the show, and he knows I'm lying to him because he can clearly see that that I'm not getting jacked out of my mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, he checks in with me and does that. I mean, I can refer him to you if you want. If you
No,
want to
I
work
don't
out.
want to do this.
He'll
It's
give
too
you
much
a good
work, for
workout
sure.
your triceps and chest. A little bit of back. He'll work you full body. He gives you the full body workouts. They're
Okay.
great workouts. I mean, you feel
Sure.
good. It releases the endorphins.
Yeah,
What the
you
hell are
seem
we
like
talking
you feel
about?
great all the time.
I felt like shit yesterday.
Yeah, all the time. Cosplay. And then a shout out before I pass the baton to anybody else at MomoCon. There was an awesome shovel night walking around.
Yes.
Awesome
It was
shovel
awesome.
night.
For me, cosplay is really interesting because, when you're first exposed to it, it's kind of just like, oh, it's like Halloween when it's not Halloween. It's just
Right.
people in costume. But then it's like once you get into it on a level that we are just by default of the industries that we cover, you realize that it's like it is not just costumes. It's different. There's a very distinct difference between cosplay and costume. And I think you can see it even when we go to the show floors when there's just someone wearing something that they bought off of a website
Right.
versus somebody that made this and
Made the
crafted
costume,
it and
yeah.
like really thought about it and custom made the stuff. And that's not to say that you can't just buy the stuff and that doesn't count or whatever, because like there is something to looking like the person and like wearing the right costume for who you are or whatever it is for who you are. But even then, there's something to say about the people that do not look like the character at all, but because their costume's so good, it still has that feel. Or if they do something unique or whatever, and like it's interesting that I'm now friends with a lot of people that do professional cosplay, and it's interesting that it's a lifestyle to them. Like it's not just I dress up and it's kind of fun. It's like they love, like in the same way that I love making videos and
Sure.
love doing this stuff, they love making costumes. They love thinking about what their next thing's going to be.
Learning new
and
skills
Learning
for
new
it.
skills and like actually crafting, like creating, like 3D printing and like
Right.
doing all this stuff. And it's like, it's really cool seeing them get into it and people getting excited about what's the next thing they're going to do.
I forget if it was Vampy or if it was Meg, but one of them was like getting super excited because they were going to learn like leather making. You know what I mean? So for their next costume, they can make their own holsters. And she's like,
Yeah,
geez,
that's all-
like
I
I
mean-
would just like Google, and try to find this to
Yeah.
buy it and have it.
But they don't want that.
Yeah, I
they
know.
Want,
But that's how
want
it
to
started
make it.
for them, and then eventually their level of love and passion for this like takes you where all of us do. Where you for instance went from like looking at other people that were making videos to going, I can do that.
Yeah.
And now learning those skills every day, and then realizing, holy shit! Like it's that 1 second where you have to admit to yourself, like, oh, this is a lifelong endeavor. I'm going to do this forever, and I'm just going to keep getting better at it. But I don't. That's not what it's not about reaching something. It's about just having fun and
Doing it,
progressing
yeah.
and learning new shit and like getting better at it.
And that's kind of the cool thing. So like you brought up Vampy. Like for me, I remember the first cosplay I saw of her was her Tifa one from Final Fantasy VII, and like it's pretty damn spot on. It's
Right.
like, damn, you have the body for that and you have the look for that, and the costume was perfect. So it's like great. But then as I start seeing her do it in a bunch of different ones, it's like it's to the point now where it's like it's not even about the character so much as it's about her, and it's just like it's cool seeing her do things.
Her interpretation
And
of it.
Jessica Negri, that's a whole different thing where like she has a very unique style. When you look at her stuff, it's like she has a very sexy style. She has a very like I'm gonna take this thing and make it sexy.
Yeah.
And
She sort of
her
like reverse
costumes-
engineers it like Cook would do, right?
Yeah.
Where like I'm just gonna take the great
How can I
elements
make
of
this as
and
small
like
as possible? But it's like, but there's an art to it though. Like it's good because
it's not
like,
pornographic, and that's the thing. She does it to a point where you're like, that is actually a tasteful level of sexiness.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting because it's like you can almost look at just the costume and be like, oh, that looks like a Jessica Negri costume,
Right.
And that's cool. Like that's art. You
Yeah.
know, and I think a lot of people overlook that and just look at it and it's just like they'll have all their comments and they'll say their things, but it's like there's so much thought put into these
Sure.
things and so much just like weird decisions that need to be made and just the sheer stress and shit that you put your body through wearing these
Oh my
outfits
God,
is
yeah.
insane. The heat you need to deal with, having to carry the props, making sure that you're not breaking the 3D printed whatever the hell
Yeah,
belts
yeah, yeah.
that you made. Like there's so much of that stuff that goes into it. It's like think of the most uncomfortable Halloween costume you've ever had to wear
Yeah.
when you were trick-or-treating and how upset you were that night. Knowing that you were going to get the candy, so it was all good,
Yeah.
but just upset at the shit that you had to deal with.
Yeah.
But imagine that when every 5 seconds, motherfuckers like me are stopping you to ask to take a picture
Yeah.
and all that stuff. And it's like, oh,
Well, that's the
God.
payoff to
But
it,
that's
you know
the
what I
thing.
mean?
They're that's their moment. And it's like, it's always great for me to see like my friends like Sheena from like the Rooster Teeth family.
Yeah.
She's fucking awesome. And like she does a whole bunch of different cosplays, and it's great to see her taking pictures with stuff. And a lot of her posts are just her with people that want to take pictures with her.
Right.
And it's like, it's cool that it goes both ways, that it's like we want to take pictures with them, but then they also want pictures with other people, kind of validating what they do, because what they do, a lot of people don't see as like a real thing. So, and what's also interesting to me is I feel like a lot of these people, like, you know, we think like, what would we dress as? We obviously jump to the things that we like, you know, like the game franchises we love, or the Superman or whatever.
Yeah.
It's interesting to me to see some of these people dress as characters, like for anime characters where they don't watch the anime or whatever. And it's like, it's always that weird, unique interpretation of like, they just like making the costume. Like they're dressing as this person because they thought that costume was a nice challenge that they wanted to try to do.
Right.
And it's like,
They
there's just so
identified
many
with it
different
somehow.
aspects. Then there's the complete opposite of that of they love this character.
Yeah, see.
They've invested for years, so it means something to them.
That's the camp I would fall into if I was, because like the work and stuff when you follow these people on Instagram or on their Twitters, like the work and hours and all the stuff that goes into it, I would have to be like making something that I'm super super into and believe in, right? Like, because even like I've kicked around, like I thought about like maybe I would cosplay as Teddy from Persona, but then how the fuck do I know to build a Teddy costume? And I was like, that's fucking impossible. And then sure enough, at MomoCon this year, Teddy rode the escalator down past me, and the guy had to head off and was just melting and disgusting, and I'm like, yep. And it's like at PAX East this last time when I went and hosted that Borderlands party. The Borderlands community is fucking crazy about cosplay, and they're awesome at it. You know what I mean? There's so many amazing things. But there was a dude who came in a claptrap outfit he made, and it was that, you know, he got there and the party's like 3 or 4 hours long, and then there's like a costume contest at the end of it. So like after 30 minutes of being there, he was just like leaning the thing on a couch, like him in it still. He refused to get out of it because he wanted to take photos and move the arms and do the and I was like, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to see. And then, you know, with me, like, I love Disney princesses. It's kind of my thing at this point. It's kind of like part of my character. And it's like a joke, but it's like, I legitimately, I love Disney, you know? And so it's like, Disney princesses are going to be a thing that are at every convention. You're going to see people dress up as any of them. There's so many now. And it's cool because they're always slightly different variations. Because they sell costumes for those things, but most of those, the people make them in some way. And it's cool seeing all the different little variations and stuff. And it's like, I love the interpretations, but when you see someone that's really nailing it, you're like, that's Disneyland quality. You're just like, good for you, you know. And like when the best thing is when they act in character and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like at MomoCon, I saw
You saw a bunch. You
there was a
took
whole
a photo
bunch,
with
but there was an
everybody.
Alice and a Mad Hatter, and the Mad Hatter was like asked to take a picture, and he was just like talking all crazy and shit. I'm like,
You
"That's
punched him in the
fucking
face."
Yeah, I did, but you know, it was fucking awesome. It sucked for him.
That's
but,
why every time I see an Octodad, I yell, why does everybody want to take a photo with that guy in a suit?
that's really funny.
Because remember Octodad, the story, well, of course, he was hidden.
I remember very well. How could I
Just
forget?
making sure. Just making sure. Colin, who
thought-
would you cosplay as?
I don't know who I cosplay as though. For the last question, like I've thought about it a long time. Solid Snake was my answer a long
I mean,
time
wouldn't
ago.
it be the
just
Green
a
Ranger?
white
Why
dude.
wouldn't you be the Green Ranger?
You should be the Green Ranger.
Because I mean, I just don't have that.
Or the better
hair
of the
is
two
another
Rangers,
thing, man.
the Red Ranger.
Yeah,
It's
But
the
I
best
mean,
Ranger.
like it's your spin on it. If you were in a dope ass Green Ranger outfit and you were just
I
walking
go
around with a
White
helmet,
Ranger. White
Okay,
Ranger's good.
okay.
I want white.
We should go
it's
with
Jason
that
Davis Frank either way. We don't mind.
Yeah,
You and I
it'd be
should go. I should go as the Green Ranger, and you should go as the White Ranger, and we should
I'll go
just
as Pink
stare
Ranger.
at each other, not understanding. Like I don't understand what the difference is between the two the entire
good. Yeah,
time.
all right, that works for me.
The one thing that fascinates me about this whole thing is that most of the people that go there don't give a shit what other people think about them. Like they do in a degree of like they want people to respect and appreciate that they're part of the community. But as far as their body images are concerned, I'm always fascinated and almost inspired by how free people are. Because there is no fucking way I would show my stomach at one of these events. I would not wear a costume that showed any of the parts of my body that I am not 100% okay
You
with.
ain't seeing them Nick cheeks.
You're not seeing. Well, I mean, my ass is fantastic. First of all, so you can see my ass. Pretty much anything from waist down is great. Anything but my waist. But you know what I mean. So you see these people walking around, and they don't like. if they were celebrities, there's no way they would wear this stuff because they would want to make sure that they had makeup and all this stuff, and like if the lighting was correctly and stuff like that, because you wouldn't want to be photographed like that. But these people, especially the girls that go, are so free and so like confident in themselves that I see that and I'm like, that is fucking awesome. Like, how come I can't be like that? How come I can't go in the ultimate cosplay that I want to go as, which is just the cut off football jersey that Keanu Reeves wore in Point Break. No, I don't know if he did that or not, but yeah, Wildcat's a perfect example where he's just like wearing it and you're like, why am I seeing your belly button right now, guy? Great abs though. But I think I'd probably go as Mega Man and just get it totally wrong just to piss Colin off.
You go as like box art Mega Man?
That'd be funny.
I could actually pull off a good box art Mega Man.
You could.
That's
because
a
you got the
funny
rosy
idea.
cheeks.
I like that.
Oh, he's out of shape too.
Is he?
Yeah.
Now, something I don't like about cosplay, and I saw this a lot at this MomoCon, and I could be wrong about this, and if I am, I apologize. But I don't like it when people just use it as an excuse to wear a costume. Because it's like, you're missing the point of this. Like, when people are just wearing like a giraffe, like, onesie.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's like,
or the kid with a banana. We had a fan come up with a banana.
It's like,
but to be honest
he was
with you,
in banana
that made me
costume.
laugh, and I was like, "Thank you for wearing that banana."
But it's one of those things where it's like, I wonder why they did that. If it was like
maybe it's their starter. It's their starter drug on this whole thing.
But if it's like the banana was, if he is cosplaying as a specific banana,
no,
internet banana, peanut butter and jelly time.
But that's the thing.
I
though.
think the banana
All right.
was to make fun of everyone else that was walking around.
No way.
It was a commentary of some sort. I don't think it was, hey, everyone's cosplaying. I want to be part of this community. I'm going to throw a banana on. I think it was. Everyone's dressed like idiots. I'm going to put a banana on.
Banana dude,
and be
please,
an idiot as well.
If you're watching this,
course
let
you
us
are.
know. I want to know because it's like that. I do want to know
Banana
the answer to that
dude.
question is why did you dress like a banana? Why did you dress like a giraffe? Why did you dress like these things that are just like, I don't think these are characters. I could be wrong because the world is vast. There's so many different things. And that's the thing. There's not rules to cosplay. It's
Right.
not like it's only anime people or only, like, there's Disney princesses. What the fuck? You know, like, that's not really a thing in terms of like,
Oh, it's a real thing.
oh, it's a real damn thing.
It's all perfect.
But, you know.
Oh, it's all perfectly. I wish you had a body for Spider-Man as well.
Yeah,
a
Spider-Man's
dope
good.
ass Spider-Man costume.
I mean, spandex in general. I just wish I could rock them.
You
No
could.
one can,
You could.
though.
I can wear them.
You have to be
Can't
like
rock 'em.
Andrew Garfield level skinny.
Andrew Goldfarb. Colin, cosplay thoughts, and
Yes.
who would you cosplay as?
I mean, I'm not a fan of cosplay personally, but I mean, you can do whatever you want. That's totally fine. I appreciate it. My whole thing is more kind of to Tim's point that if you're gonna do it, I think you should do it right. I see a lot of great cosplay, and then I see things that seem a little half-assed to me that I don't quite understand. But to each his own. I mean, if that's what you want to do. My favorite thing about cosplay is watching other people that have no idea what's going on look at people in cosplay. And when you're in places like we were at MomoCon, where you're in CNN Center, there's a lot of serious people there, and then in the hotel where a lot of people are staying. And my favorite thing was watching them watching cosplayers.
My story to that, and I'll let you get back to it, is the fact that I remember once I got a cab at PAX Prime, and when you leave PAX. No, I'm sorry, PAX East. So because you walk out and there's that West in there. I got the cab there, I Ubered it, and then came around the corner, and then we were stuck in the traffic trying to get out of the West. And Vampy Bit Me was over there, and she was in her Zero Suit Samus outfit with the Metroid like on her head or in her hand by her head. And the guy's like, "What the hell is that?" And I had explained what all this was. Sorry.
Well, it's a Metroid.
My only thing is that I get disappointed when I see people not being self-aware of where they should cosplay, and what I mean by that is like there's always one or two people at E3 that are cosplaying, and I'm like, no, you don't cosplay. It's not a show for cosplaying.
This is an industry show.
But it's fun if that's what you want to do. That's great. I was talking to Tim about it, and I'm like, people would expect so little of me in terms of like cosplaying or doing that I would love to do like just in secret. Just like the most ornate thing you've ever seen in your life, and then just show up at one of these shows.
That'd be awesome.
Like, and I was saying that
This is Galactus.
I would love to go. I'd love to go as
Whoa.
day to day. But
that would be amazing.
But the thing about day to day, there was a day to day at the show, and he actually was pretty cool, like a guy, but he didn't have like a mask on or anything like that. The thing about day to day is it's not right without the face. So that would cost like it has to be that crazy like. Like that sociopathic.
But
like
you
I'm
can do
gonna
that
kill
face.
you with this hammer.
You
I'm gonna
just
kill
nailed
you with
that
it.
face.
But I want the like his face. I would love to get a mask, like a really beautifully done mask that I could wear. And if I could do that, then I'd probably just do day to day and just be him or whatever. Because I feel like I've never ever in my life seen good Mega Man cosplay. Like it's just one of those things where like you can't do it. Like they have huge arms, they have huge legs, they're squat, they're supposed to be short. Mega Man's like 4.5 feet tall. So it's like it's not. There's certain things that I love that I don't. Yeah, that's like the outfit's fine. The face is not right.
Fucking amazing day today.
Will you selling that to me?
Yeah.
But the face is what the essence of day to day is. That face.
Yeah.
So like that's the big problem with
Yeah.
me. But the things that I really love, like the things that I would dress up as, is like and nothing for Mega Man's gonna work except for maybe Wily would be
Wily,
fun.
you could
and
rock
Greg and I can
Wily.
do Wily and Light probably because Greg's like kind of a little bigger than I, and he could be Light and I can be Wily, and I think that'd be fun. But
That'd be cool.
But the only other cosplay I'd like to do is like Simon Belmont or Trevor Belmont or something from Castlevania.
Oh my god, yes.
like,
like
with
a wig?
super
That'd be
tight
fucking
pants.
awesome.
I would get you super tight pants and like boots that had a little bit of a heel on them and like a collar that was just gorgeous with like
He has, like,
the sort of like
leather armor.
no, I was gonna,
The dicky that
the
ruffles
dicky
out.
that ruffles out. Maybe I'm just thinking Prince. I think I just want you
You
to
are
go Prince.
doing
Yeah, you're thinking more of like Dracula than a Belmont.
Yeah,
maybe
actually,
Dracula.
yeah, you're describing Bowie too.
But
I just want to dress colored up in like the tightest jeans you've ever seen.
I love it.
Those are the things that would be fun, but like at the same time, like I don't ever think about that and be like, this is something I want to do.
No, that's the
not the
thing,
way
yeah.
we were talking about it. Like I don't like conventions really, like for those reasons. Like I like going to them and meet our fans and to like interact with our fans and do our stuff, but I don't ever have a need to go to them. And so that's just not the way I interact with like my nerdy side, my nerd culture. Like that's just not the way I do it.
Yeah.
So I've never had a drive to dress up as anything, and I don't think that I probably realistically ever will. Although when I see a great costume, I love it. Like I told you guys, I think it was at New York Comic Con last year. My favorite cosplay I've ever seen in my life were these two guys dressed as the Ice Climbers. And it was awesome, but they had like booty shorts on and like just like one of them was wearing pink, one of them was wearing like the baby blue, and they just had like booty shorts on and like just little vests.
Yeah.
And but it was perfect, like the white puff around them and like the hood, and then they just had like hammers in their hands and they were awesome. And I was like,
awesome.
they don't look like the Ice Climbers at all. Like, but like that's their
But you
interpretation of the
get
Ice
it.
Climbers,
You
and it
see
was
it.
Yeah,
fucking
it's so
awesome.
good.
And they were getting stopped like every 2 seconds. I kept seeing them and like saying hey to them, like. I was like, this is brilliant because they're not trying to be, Popo and Nana or whatever the fuck their names are.
Yeah.
they're
Nailed it.
trying to be their interpretation of the Ice Climbers.
Yeah, Alfredo was sexy Diddy Kong at one point, and he just had a little brown thong and just the shirt, little tank top.
Alfredo has a great body. I'll put it that way. There's a part of me that wants to get really yacked because I am on the shorter side and go as the Wolverine.
Ah,
Not
that'd be
the
awesome.
Wolverine. I'm sorry, Wolverine. Like I want to go as
the Batman.
I want to go as like brown and yellow like costume
That'd be
Wolverine
awesome.
with the freaking horns and like little puff shoulder things and just bare arms, gloves. You can leave whatever claws. You don't have to have the claws at all, but just walk.
You have
around
to
like
have the
that.
claws.
But the big boots, like I've never seen. I mean, I'm sure if I googled it right now, there'd be some amazing Wolverine costumes. But the problem with the films is that they made it so much easier to do Wolverine. 'Cause all you need is the hair
And a tank top.
and a tank top,
Cigar.
and a cigar, and you're like, oh, and the mutton and the big chops, and like that's all you really need. But I'm like, go in all and have the mask with the white eyes and like the whole thing, just be like, like the little just 5'2"
awesome.
fur ball, be awesome.
Nice. I liked your topic.
Thanks.
My topic is nice people.
Good.
Lots of these, of course, these topics today have come, it seems, from MomoCon. And at MomoCon, this time around, we got to hang out with a gentleman we all know and love named Mega Ran. And Mega Ran is one of the nicest human beings I continue to come in contact with. He keeps coming into our world, and he, of course, is a big-time rapper on the internet. You can find him. He sells out shows all the time, played a bunch at MomoCon.
Which was awesome.
Still on tour.
I made it to one of them.
Yeah.
Which was really cool. I've been a Mega Ran fan for many a year.
Yeah, you were one of the people who freaked out when he reached out to us about coming on the shows.
He has a song called Grow Up, which I highly recommend because it's really, really awesome. And I never in my life thought I'd see that song live.
Yeah.
And I did. And it was a weird moment. I called my brother and I was like, listen to this. He's like, is that fucking Mega Ran? I'm like, yeah, it's fucking Mega Ran.
Yeah.
It was good.
That's a good moment. But Mega Ran is, like I said, super successful. So the fact that he came here and played on Colin Moriarty Live the one time was amazing. The fact that I said, oh, you're going to MomoCon, we're there too. You should come to the Colin Moriarty Live show. He came to the Colin Moriarty Live show. Then he texted me. He's like, hey, what are you guys doing for dinner? I'm like, oh, we have a meet and greet tonight. You should come. He's like, okay. Came, stayed the whole time, took photos and stuff. And he just radiates awesomeness. You just want to hug him. You just want to talk to him. He's one of those guys who's always happy, it seems. I'm sure he has down moments like we all do. But always happy. Always super happy to see you. Always want to talk to you, help you out, do whatever he can. He's on Patreon too. You should go get him there. One of the nicest people I've ever met. And we don't talk about the nice people enough. So I wanted to spend a topic talking about the nice people in our lives. I'm starting with Mega Ran.
That's
I
a
love
good
Mega
one.
Ran.
I mean, MomoCon in general, I think nice people was like a overwhelming thing that just kept happening.
Yeah.
Like down in Atlanta, people were very nice.
Yes.
It was like kind of weird.
Oh, sugar, pardon our progress.
Yeah.
I think that especially like we talk a lot about Comic-Con and E3. We see the industry side of that, right? But you have to understand, if you're going to be around a group of people who are into that specific subject, like matter, basically nerd, quote unquote nerd culture, even though I don't necessarily agree or like that term, just because like spoilers, nerd culture is mainstream culture.
Is everything.
Now. Like, it's
Exactly,
everything
right.
now.
Yeah.
So like if you think that, and to each his own, if you take pride in being called a nerd or liking to sort of disassociate yourself from mainstream culture in that regard, more power to you. But we live in a time right now where we need to stop pretending that comic books and video games are for quote unquote nerds. Everyone plays video games now, to some degree, and everyone loves comic book movies to some degree. I'm overgeneralizing, but that's way more mainstream than it has ever been in the past, and it's just going to continue to keep going. I don't know why the hell I started talking about that. Oh, because when you go to these conferences, you meet these people, especially MomoCon, where it is not an industry show. It is just a for shits and giggles show. Like you're going to go, it's just to celebrate the culture, and you meet people that like hold the door open for you, or other people, you know,
Yeah.
or like I was telling Tim, like the interactions in the elevators are hilarious because you're sitting there and people will come in and there's that awkward moment of you like you can tell the person wants to compliment the other person on their cosplay, but they don't want to do it in such a way that kind of makes them look like they're not cool, you know? So they have that kind of like, hey, you know, they kind of point at each other like, oh, you're so-and-so. Oh, you're so-and-so. Awesome. And then one of them leaves and the other person is like, I just met someone that was into the same thing I met, and it's fun. So you get these really, really nice people at these things, and long story short, and it's fun to be around that sort of positive energy. Because unlike E3, which sucks your soul,
Not true.
it is by day 4, everyone just wants to. I mean, basically, E3 is like Thunderdome, but everyone just wants to kill each other after the third day.
You call everything Thunderdome.
I'm not really sure I know what that term means. So that is fun. It is fun being around MomoCon. I look for, and same with PAX. Right, when we went to PAX East, I was just like, wow, man, everyone's really nice and cool.
Yeah.
And like and they're respectful. Even when they come up to like say what's up to you, they're always, you know, everyone's always respectful of each other's time. It's nice. I like our lives. It's good. I don't know who else.
There's
Tim's
a
got
girl.
somebody.
There's a girl named Jess Lamb. No one would know her, but you all should because she is the nicest girl I think I've ever met. Nicest person I think I've ever met.
Why?
She's always been just very kind to everybody. She's the type of person that will always make sure everyone is having a good time. She will really go out of her way to like do stuff and like opening doors and all that stuff to her would just be like basic level needs to happen.
Yeah.
Like she would travel hours to make someone's day if that was an option. You know what I mean? Like she's the type of person that really just, even if she doesn't really know him, it's just like she just wants to be nice.
Is this an internet person or a person from
No,
real life?
she's just a real person.
Okay.
Which is weird. It's weird to talk about real people. But it's
That
like
is weird.
she's a real ass person. And it's like she's the type of person that I don't talk to that much, but whenever I do talk to, it always reminds me of like, man, like I need to be a better person because of this girl.
Those are good people to know.
Yeah. And it's like she is the type of person that doesn't necessarily like keep up with my crazy life and all that crazy shit.
Sure.
But it's like every once in a while she'll just reach out randomly and just be like, hey, I'm proud of you. And it's like that's so unnecessary, but it means so much to me.
Sure.
And it's like moments like that are like, this is why I keep doing what I'm doing. And it's like that unnecessary, unasked for niceness is very rare. And shout out to Jess Lamb.
We love you, Jess Lamb. Yeah. Colin, what nice people do you know?
I don't know, all sorts of nice people. I mean, the funny thing about me, I think, because I have such a curmudgeonly way about me, is that I'm actually like super friendly. Like when I go out and about, like when I'm interacting with people.
You're super
And-
nice to people who
except for
don't
those-
live with you.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
I hate Greg, but
Except
other
for those
than
homeless people you kill.
Yeah, and I mean, there's things we're not going to talk about on the show.
Okay,
today.
sorry, I apologize.
But like my basic interaction is though, like when I walk, I'm actually quite friendly in my day-to-day life in terms of if I go to a bar or I go to I'm checking out at the grocery store, I always go like, hey, how you doing? And and I'm like, and they're good. And I'm like, okay, and thank you very much, and walk away or whatever.
Sure.
The thing is that I turn on a dime very quickly if someone's not nice back. I'll immediately
Yeah, you do.
like go.
No,
like,
you do.
And like because like I always put out a good vibe until I don't get it back, and that's it. I'm not gonna put out a good vibe anymore.
It's a
Like,
beautiful
that's just
thing
kind
to
of,
watch.
That's kind of the way it is, where it's like I'll hold the door open for someone, and we've talked about it before.
Yep.
And then they'll like walk past me, and I'll be like, "You're welcome," like right to them to make sure like they like I don't like mutter it under my breath, and like that's just who I am. So like I feel like I was raised properly to treat people with a level of respect, and the rapport grows and grows if you're nice to me. Like
wasn't there one guy that you're like, you're welcome, and he was like, what do you want, like
That
what
was
do you want,
in
a
New York,
sandwich?
yeah.
You're like, touche.
It was what was awesome because I'm so used to not being in New York,
Right.
Where I am very New York,
Yeah.
in the way I carry myself, and I'm used to doing that. And people in California just walk away and don't do anything about it. But I was on the subway in New York City like a year ago, and I let some gentleman kind of got in front of me, and I was just like, oh, go ahead, and then he just walked past me, and I'm like, oh, you're welcome. And he's like, what do you want, medal? And I'm like, all right,
Like, yeah, all right.
and I just
Yeah.
I walk up the escalator because I'm so used to not being challenged.
Yeah.
In that respect, but so I try to always set the tenor of niceness,
Good
and
word.
people have noted that, like people that don't know me very well, or people that are around me a lot, are always been like, you're actually quite friendly to like everyone you encounter. And I'm like, yeah, I like to put out a good vibe and see. And what surprises me more is that most people that I put out good vibes with don't seem to necessarily reciprocate it, which I'm disappointed in. Just generally, I just don't feel like people in society really are all that friendly to each other. And I try to be a please and thank you, how are you kind of guy. Hold doors, pick up things if someone. I actually was telling Tim, this is a good example. When we were in Atlanta, two things happened where I was very nice and like nothing, like it was actually like the antithesis of nice, like the way I was treated back. On the plane down to Atlanta, I watched this old man struggle with the monitor on his like trying to swipe the card, but didn't pitch it.
Yeah.
And then swipe the card to like buy a movie or whatever. And after like 5 minutes, I was like, I can't fucking take this anymore. And I got up and I was like, look, you got to do this. Like push it forward and then use your credit card. And he just looked at me and then did it and then just ordered his movie. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
I'll bury you, old man.
And then the second time was like in the food court, some guy like dropped his phone, the battery like flew across the, and I was like, he didn't notice, he was just having a conversation. I was like, yo, you dropped your phone. I don't know if you want to pick it up, and he just looked at me.
Yeah.
And then picked up the phone or whatever. I'm like, you're fucking welcome.
To be fair with that one, and I was thinking about that, he had his earphones in, and I think he might have been listening to music, and he was just like confused at what was going on. He just saw you like kind of point and stuff. Still though, when he had his phone, even if he didn't know what was happening, like if that was me, I would have like pulled him out and be like, "Oh, sorry, thank you." He didn't do that. He just kind of looked at you and just gave.
Yeah, so I was just like, all right, I try to carry, I know I have a curmudgeonly way about me on the shows and stuff like that, but I think I ham that up a little bit. Like when I go out and about, I'm always, I'm never I never not say thank you. I never don't say please. I kind of carry myself in a polite way. So I encounter nice people every day, but I also encounter people that are not very nice every day. The one thing I noticed is that, and I think it's just the nature of Kind of Funny's audience and the audience we've engendered and how we've kind of just feverishly pushed out people that are not friendly and not nice, is that we just have a very nice audience.
Yeah, the audience is great.
Very, very, like when we meet them, we met hundreds of them this weekend in Atlanta at the meet and greet and at the panels and our signing sessions and stuff. Just very friendly people, please and thank you kind of people. Those are the kinds of people I like. I couldn't imagine not being a please and thank you kind of person. So I put that energy out, and then you identify really nice people. And my favorite thing is when the other person is even nicer. When you talk to them, I was like, hey, how are you? And it's like, oh, good, I'm doing well today. How are you doing?
You're like, shut up.
And I'm like,
busy.
It almost takes me off guard sometimes because I'm so used to just being like, what do you want?
It's nice. It's like a perfect example of was yesterday. I was in a bad mood just because I was tired and had to deal with a lot of stuff. And I was like, my wife needs me to go to Trader Joe's. But I know so I went home to grab bags because I'm like, I don't want to pay for, we needed like a bunch of groceries. I don't want to pay 10 cents for each one of these bags. It's a little weird thing I got, a little weird war that's going on.
It's a principle.
And I came in not expecting to see my wife, and she was there. And she was so excited to see me because we hadn't seen each other in like 5 days. And really, like, when I came home Sunday night, we got home at midnight or 12:30, and she was fast asleep. And she sprung up and like ran to the door and hugged me and was like, hey, what are you doing here? And I'm like, and that totally changed my mood. Then I went to Trader Joe's.
I was going to say, hey, what are you doing here? Where's the Trader Joe's? You forgot.
No. She was just very excited and very happy. And that flipped my mood so vastly, like 180 degrees. I was instantly just happy because I was like, someone is being nice to me and someone who I love is caring about me right now. Then I went to Trader Joe's. I was super excited to be there. Went around like 15 times, just distracted, looking at everything. But finally got everything I needed. Went up to the cash register, and the girl that was there, I could tell was having a really bad day. She was dealing with a foreign guy, and there's nothing against foreigners, but I don't think he quite understood how grocery stores were supposed to work here. Either that or he couldn't get his card to work. Something was not happening properly where she was trying to explain it to him, how to like run his card through the thing, and he was just like,
Oh, he's used to tapping it with the chip.
I don't know what the hell it was. He was
We're
just
doing
trying to
with
figure
the
out
swipe cards.
He was trying to figure out what the hell was going on, and she was like, "No." And then finally, I had to like help him swipe it, and he was like, and he the whole time he wasn't being
Cool
a
about it.
dick, but he wasn't really
Helping,
giving a shit.
yeah.
And he was like laughing with his wife, and they were speaking in a different language, and she was just like, ah. So when I got up there, she starts unloading my stuff, and I look her in the eye, and I'm like, "How you doing?" And she goes, "I'm okay. How are you?" And I'm like, "I'm well. Do you mind if I bag my own stuff?" She goes, "That would be awesome." And I bagged all of my stuff. She didn't have to help it. I guess I like bagging my own groceries.
Me too.
Something weird Tetris about it that I want to like perfectly make the space for it. Also, it just speeds shit up. And by the end of it, I could tell I'm like my positive energy. She left. She's like, "Hey, see you later, man. Thanks for coming in." I was like, "Hey, thanks for helping me." Great. And I could tell that I had, just by being happy and positive,
Yeah.
flipped her mood.
Goes a long way, man.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It was
Definitely
really
does.
weird.
I was thinking about it. Like I felt like I was missing somebody because I was like, there's been a few times in my life where I'm like, this person is the epitome of this word.
Sure.
And nice. There was one guy that I'm like, you were the nicest person I've ever met, Jared Petty.
Oh, Jared Petty is one of the nicest people
Oh
ever.
my God.
Yes.
Yeah, Jared Petty's a nice guy. I was thinking Darren too. Darren Brazil.
Brazil.
See,
Darren's
I
a
thought
dick.
about Darren, but Darren can be a dick. And it might be because of the level of my relationship with
Sure.
Darren, but Darren can be really not nice too.
Right.
Having
No,
said
now,
that,
Darren's
Darren
not-
can be very nice.
Darren's not ever not nice. Darren just enjoys screwing with you sometimes.
No, Darren's done some not nice shit.
No, that's
yeah,
not true.
I'm
He's
calling
never
you out,
done
Darren.
anything malicious. Darren's really, really, really nice, and then if he has that rapport with you, will occasionally like give you shit or like nag you a little bit for fun because it's fun. That's the same thing we all do. We just
No,
we jibe
Darren's
each other
been
back and
a
forth.
dick to me. Like he's done not
Bullshit.
nagging. He's done some dick shit.
That's because
But
you
besides
probably
that,
deserved
he's
it. You probably deserved
He's
dick
also
shit.
done like a lot of very incredible things for me, and I feel like Darren, having said all of that, is my perfect example of who I want to be in terms of like
Physique and man bun.
physique, and also just
Such a
in
good
terms
man
of like
bun.
his ideals and his like idea of what a family should be and all that stuff. Like he kind of got that shit down in
Yeah.
a lot of really cool ways. But going back to it, man, freaking Jared Petty,
Jared Petty on that mean bone in that guy's body.
No,
No.
man.
Nice guy.
The Reverend.
there was a
Sometimes people are too nice.
Like Jared Petty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like where it's like I want, not because I'm mad at him for being nice. I like him being nice, but it's like I want to see you not be nice.
there's something.
What
in there.
what
There's
do
a
you hate
beast
about
in
me,
there.
Jared? Tell me right now.
He
That was one of
wouldn't
the things.
tell you.
Remember when we all
He
first
wouldn't
met
tell you.
Clements? That was the problem. Clements was way too nice. We were like, there's got to be
We
something
broke him,
in
though.
you.
See,
And
what
then we
is-
eventually broke him all that I'm sorry bullshit.
Yeah, what does it say about me that I met Clements and he was really nice, and I'm like, I gotta break that. I gotta kill this and destroy
Well,
it.
because
and build it back up.
I think the real world generally in work environments is a mixture of nice and being nice and polite, but also being real and stern and speaking your mind and stuff like that. Some people are just timid about doing that kind of thing, and I don't blame them because it's not because they just don't want to rock the boat. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's actually a good character trait, but it doesn't necessarily work all the time in a professional environment. So you need to, it's a joke, but you need to kind of like break it.
It's hard, man. Like, I think overall I'm a pretty nice person, but like it's hard to be confrontational and to do that stuff. And I feel like there's times when it's like in order to do the right thing, you kind of have to be. And that's hard because balancing being nice and getting things done, a lot of the times those two things don't necessarily add up. And it's hard to say things that are going to hurt somebody, And I feel like that's where nice kind of ends, and it's like there has to be some other type of word, like there's a difference between being a good person and a nice person, and it's really hard to be nice all the time.
Well,
And I don't
that's-
know if
yeah.
that's necessarily the best thing either.
What you're saying is like in order to do sometimes doing the right thing means you have to not be nice.
Yeah.
There was a great quote. I don't know if you guys are caught up on Game of Thrones.
Nope.
It's not really spoiling at all. There's a great quote where the old guy at the Night's Watch, the really really old guy. I can't remember what his title is. It's like that's not Maestro. It's
Targaryen.
something.
Maester.
Maester, is that what it is?
Yeah.
He is the
Maester
last,
Aegon?
second to last Targaryen.
Maybe not.
And he's like blind and he's late and so
Oh,
Jon
that
Snow.
guy.
Yeah, Jon Snow comes up to him and is like, yes, exactly. Jon Snow comes up to him and he's like, I need your advice on something. I need to do something, but it's going to be really unpopular. And the guy goes, just do it. And he goes, but you don't even know what it is. And he's like, no, but you feel the need to do it. You're the leader. You have to go do it. And then he proceeds to say, he goes on this great little monologue, and then he ends it with, kill the boy and let the man and let the man live. And that's not in regards to what he's going to do. He's actually talking about just the war within every human being, where he's like, you can't be the little boy anymore that
Wants to be
wants
friends.
everyone to be his friend. You got to kill that kid, and you have to be a fucking man. And sometimes being a man means you got to be stern, and sometimes it means you have to be mean. or in order to fight for what you want, because people will take advantage of you, and that's just the way it goes. But yeah, when you meet people like Clements, I don't think Clements is. I don't think he wasn't ever like. I don't think it was to his. I don't think it was bad for him to be that nice. I don't think he ever ran into a set of circumstances where he was that nice and it like really held him back in any way, shape, or form. But it was working around you two complete and total assholes was probably good for him.
We brought him down to our level.
We made him stronger.
We brought him in the mud.
No,
he went
if
from
you
being a
brought him
nice
in the mud-
person to a good person.
There you go.
You don't know. You weren't there. You weren't in the
I was
trenches
totally
with
there.
us.
I
You don't
listened
know.
to
You were smoking
every-
cigarettes. You and Brendan and I, you were eating
I
meatball
listened
subs.
to every podcast beyond.
Yeah.
I watched all
Big
of
time.
your reviews. I read every article any of you guys have ever read.
Finish
and I
this-
saw the difference.
finish
in-
this statement.
I'm not gonna. I can't. Don't even try. Don't even try.
Jacob blank Jacob.
I have no idea what you're talking
Jacob is what I was looking for. Fucking phony ass fan. I'll
I'll tell you this. I know.
Don't touch me!
I know it pisses you off more than anything, though, when you don't intercat PlayStation.
Yeah, that does really get me. That gets
Yeah.
me good.
I learned
Don't
that
do
from
that to
this
me.
podcast, though, the greatest podcast on the internet, next to the Joe Rogan podcast.
You say we were the
Was that Superman trying to
Punch,
punch
you gotta keep-
reality.
Just punch
Push.
harder.
Yeah, you just punch harder.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's been the Game Over Greggy show. And little did you know, it was brought to you by Loot Crate.
Yay.
You can go to lootcrate.com/kindafunny and get $3 off any new subscription. Every month there is a different theme, and you're guaranteed $40 or more worth of items curated around their theme. This month, Loot Crate invites you to join the cyber revolution. As we covered before, Tim, cyber, you think?
It's good stuff. It's
Yeah.
fun stuff that everybody likes.
Cyber Revolution with an
I like how
assortment
you're
of cool
dancing at me.
tech-themed collectibles from a wide array of awesome franchises. They're featuring exclusive items from Terminator Genesis, Borderlands 2, and more, including an exclusive t-shirt you won't find anywhere else. So go to lootcrate.com/kindafunny to save $3 on your new subscription. And of course, thank you, Loot Crate, for supporting this show. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching this year's show and supporting us that way. If you didn't know, this has been the Game Over Greggy show. Each and every week, 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather on this table. Each bring a random topic of discussion for your amusement. If you like that, throw us a few bucks on patreon.com/kindafunny. But if you don't have the money, no big deal. Go to youtube.com/kindafunny, where each topic's broken out day by day in video form until we post the entire show on Friday as a video and a podcast. Gentlemen, thank you for your hard work today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Greg.
You're welcome, Colin.
Thank you so
You got
much.
holes in your shirt, don't forget.
I know. The weird thing is that this shirt and my FBI shirt that I wore yesterday both have holes in the same exact places in the front and back.
What are you doing?
And they're both the shirts that I brought to the live show. At some point, like that bag was on like a rusty nail or something and just went through all my shirts. But I don't really
that's
care. Who am I
sad.
trying to impress?
Nobody. You got nothing.
Yeah, I don't really care.
Looks
I
like-
have too many shirts anyway.
Looks like you got shot, though. It's like in the back and the
Well,
front.
it makes a lot of sense.
He's
were
been talking
talking
shit. Until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.